Unsportsmanlike conduct on 1620 The Zone is proudly presented by Union Bank and Trust. The program starts now.
KOZN. Unsportsmanlike conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO. Don't miss a moment, they'll give you your fix. They're on every day from 2 until 6. Spend your afternoons with John, Josh, and Nick. John, Josh, and Nick. They'll show you what sports talk really is.
I don't know if we're allowed to go on the Facebook. We can be on the Twitch, the Twitter, and the YouTube, but I'm not sure if we can be on the Facebook too.
What about the meta?
Oh, I didn't ask about the meta.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO.
Yeah, video streaming today too on 1620 The Zone TV. You can see us all. Well, you can see most of us. I think there's something in my camera where the backlighting here isn't the best, so I'm usually more shadowed, which is probably good because you don't need to see my face anyway. That's the only thing I don't like about this whole video streaming thing is people now can see me. I don't want to be seen. That's why I got into radio. I got into radio not to be seen. I am the opposite of like pioneer children. Pioneer children were meant to be seen, not heard. I was meant to be heard, not seen.
You know what they say? We have a face for radio.
But
Funny joke.
What about these pioneer children you're talking about?
Well, like the Little House on the Prairie kids. Back then, kids weren't allowed anything. They were created so that there were more farm hands.
Right, yeah.
And there was no talking back. They certainly weren't on their phones.
And there was always a lot of them because they had to, life expectancy.
Life expectancy, and the more kids was the more farm hands, which
meant to play the odds in terms of.
That's basically what it was. It's like, all right, we have 5 kids, 3 of them will make it.
Yeah,
we hope.
Yeah.
3 of them will die in childbirth, and 2 out of the remaining 5 might get trampled by a steer.
Timmy got tuberculosis at 7.
Yeah, something like that.
Timmy got tuberculosis. That's tough.
I believe that was one of the last Beatles songs. Timmy got tuberculosis. Sounds like a Beatles song anyway. Welcome everyone to the program. Robbie Lula in for Josh today. There is Grim on the Grum. It's official. We have a Whipple. We have a Whipple.
A Whipple?
A Whipple. It's a Whipple and a Rayola. And now we await
a Ron Brown.
A Ron Brown, and then whatever they decide to do. It's funny because I wonder if a lot of people are just that was some of the first responses I got was, well, what about special teams? It's like people don't even care anymore about the offense or about the running backs coach or about the offensive line coach. It's like, well, what about special teams? Because those were the things that killed us in at least 3 games this year.
I mean, that's fair. It is a fair concern. Our friend Steve Sipple and the Lincoln Journal-Star is adamant that they're going to hire a special teams coach. At least the last I saw.
Yes, he tweeted that last night. I think we shared that here on the program.
And the Lincoln Journal-Star, I think, did further reporting on that. They seem completely sold that he's going to hire a special teams coach. So a couple different things kind of have to happen here, right?
Yeah.
Either Scott Frost takes on running backs as the head coach, which maybe, I guess, I don't know. I don't believe he ever played running back, but he was a running quarterback, so maybe it's similar. He might have.
Mickey Joseph was never a receiver.
He may have been a running backs coach early in his career.
I think he might have been
at like Northern Iowa.
Yeah,
so maybe that works there. So that's one option.
Yeah,
or one of the defensive coaches has to go.
Yeah,
those are the only 2 options really if you're hiring a special teams coach. if you're giving special teams to somebody already on staff, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're hiring a special teams coach, either Frost has to take over running backs or one of the defensive guys has to go, in which case it's probably Barrett Root, I would guess. In terms of...
Well, I mean, there is a redundancy there in which you have both an inside and an outside linebacker.
You have both an inside and an outside linebackers coach, and to my understanding, Eric Shenander does a lot of work with the inside linebackers also. So maybe you move Rude to an analyst or something like that. I'm not saying necessarily even get rid of him entirely, but move him to an off-field role, something. But if they are hiring a special teams coach, those are about the only options I can think of, because you're not getting rid of Travis Fisher, obviously.
No.
I assume you're not getting rid of Mike Dawson, because that's in the 3-4. The outside linebackers kind of play a pivotal pass rushing role. So you probably, and he's really well considered coming from the NFL and everything. So you probably aren't getting rid of Dawson. Tuioti's, I think, very well considered, and you really can't go without a defensive line coach.
Mm-hmm.
So that basically leaves Rude. And again, if it's true that Shenander does work a lot with the inside linebackers, he makes the most sense to either move on or get moved to an off-field role.
What would the reaction, because Dawson was the special teams coordinator, at least that was in his title.
Yeah.
If they go with the split duties, but Dawson stays, is Dawson like, dude, I was already doing this. You give it to someone else? What was wrong with me? Remember, it was the specialists. It was the specialists. It wasn't my problem. It was the specialists.
Coach, you made it pretty clear that this was a specialist issue, not
anything else,
not a special
including
teams
me,
issue.
Mike Dawson, your special teams coach. And Frost even made mention towards the end of the season, that they thought that there were definite improvement. They've seen it on film in the coverage units. There's definite improvement in special teams.
So interesting little tidbit here. So Scott Frost, at least if Wikipedia is correct, has never coached running backs.
Okay.
Officially. But he has coached linebackers.
So Frost is going to take over linebackers and someone else.
Maybe he helps out with the inside linebackers. Yeah. I don't know.
I think, listen, I'm not saying that special teams doesn't need to be emphasized. It definitely does. But I have a feeling when this all shakes out, there's going to be way too much overreaction, either positive, negative, or both, to whatever they decide to do with special teams. Because as we talked about yesterday, the problem of special teams wasn't who was coordinating it or how they organized the coordination of the job. It was a cultural program lack of mindset.
Yeah.
That's why special teams failed.
When we ran off the coaches yesterday that emphasize special teams, those are coaches that did it because they convinced their guys that they could win games through special teams.
Yes.
Games that they wouldn't win otherwise.
Yes.
Because it was all, think about the guys we listed off, whether it's Snyder, Beamer, Bowden.
Mm-hmm.
Those are three of the big ones, right?
Yep.
They built programs that were bad. And part of the way that they got over the hump against better teams was by winning special teams battles and emphasizing it so much, because those are huge splash plays, right?
Yes.
We talk about splash plays on offense. We talk about splash plays on defense, right? You want to get the big explosive splash plays on offense. You want to prevent them on defense, but you can get them or give them up on special teams too.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
and Nebraska has been giving up a lot of them and not getting very many or any, if we're being honest.
Really, yeah. I mean, it used to be a rite of passage. Nebraska would have at least one, if not multiple, punt returns for touchdowns every season, and would never give up long kickoff returns, never give up long punt returns,
right?
Never give up blocked field goals or punts, never.
Well, I think
and now it's completely flipped where you almost wait for, Nebraska they filled the bingo card with special teams
100%.
bingo. Punt return, check. Kickoff return, check.
Block punt,
block punt, check.
Punt return, check.
Check. Blocked PAT return for a 2-point conversion by the other team, check. They cleared the board.
They did.
They filled the bingo card.
I think the only thing they maybe didn't give up was an onside kick.
They did not give up an onside kick.
That's
There's
the only one left.
Space left.
That's
one
the
space
only
left.
one left.
There's your goal for 2022.
Give up the
onside kick. Here's the thing, though. Teams didn't have a reason to kick onside because either they were leading Nebraska the whole game or the games that Nebraska won, they won by
they were blowouts.
They won by like 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So
you're right. There was not a lot of opportunity.
So there wasn't an opportunity to kick onside. But if there would have been,
they probably would have given them up.
The most bizarre, amazing. It would have been like the Dallas Cowboys Atlanta Falcons onside kick from last year. That's what it would have been. Where you have the little watermelon kick and Nebraska's standing around like the Falcons going, oh my God, the ball's spinning different. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Oh crap, we just gave up an onside.
Oh no.
That's what would have happened to Nebraska.
But that's the difference here. It's not about special teams coordinator. It's not about on-field versus off-field. Although I think those things are symbolic of the lack of emphasis put on special teams. It's that Nebraska, it seems like, thinks they just have to survive special teams. If they can survive special teams, they can win these games. Well, guess what? You can use special teams to flip entire games on their head.
Yes.
And we've seen it over and over and over happen to Nebraska.
Yes.
So instead of thinking, hey, what if we did that to other teams? They think, okay, we just have to stop this from happening to ourselves. Well, that's generally not how successful people think of, I just have to prevent the bad thing, right?
Make the bad thing go away.
You want to go get the good thing, make the good thing happen.
It makes it sound like we're in kindergarten. Got to make the bad thing go away.
I mean, I get the concepts. I get the concepts, and the execution can be technical and difficult.
Yeah.
And, a lot more complicated, but the actual principles are very simple.
Yes, they are.
And especially with special teams, making the bad things stop is not enough. You have to make the good things happen. And if you make the good things happen, the bad things will stop.
Coming up today on the program, sage advice by Ravi Lula. Our Roofery's starting lineup, powered by the Roofery's, John Higgins, Weather Guard, Mitch Holthus at 3:15, Mike Schaefer 3:45. I believe he's going to try to join us in the video stream. Dumb debates, which is the reason why we're up on the video stream. We got dumb debates today, so get in your dumb debates. All of that and a whole lot more. Oh, and Nebrasketball sucks. Our zone deal is for early bird, 2 $25 vouchers for the price of one. Not sure what to have for brunch. Doesn't matter. They got you covered. They got everything. And if you like adult beverages with your breakfast, this is the deal for you. 2 $25 gift vouchers for the price of one. Get the details right now at 1620thezone.com.
The NFL plays here on 1620 The Zone.
Seller's market, seller's market, seller's market. But what does that mean, really?
Brent Rasmussen of Mortgage Specialists.
If you've been looking at the real estate market right now, I don't have to tell you that prices are up. We hear our clients saying to us every day that they can't believe what their neighbor's house sold for, or that they'd love to sell their house but have no idea where they'd move to. Add to that, with interest rates at nearly all-time lows and home values at the highest they've ever been, it's time to see if a cash-out refinance is for you. Imagine having cash to pay off bills, finish the basement, or whatever. Interested to see how that might work for you? Call me at Mortgage Specialists. We can show you all of the details. Mortgage Specialists. Driven, trusted, reliable.
Click mtg-specialists.com. NMLS number 5918, Equal Housing Lender.
If you haven't been to school in a while, you might be surprised to see what it's like now. That's where we come in. We are Nebraska Loves Public Schools. We capture the strength and humanity of schools across our state. We make films. We make shirts. We share the stories of schools today. It's the heart of our work. Discover more at iloveps.org.
There's no denying social media has influenced the mental health of kids.
I'm literally living on my phone all the time. I felt as though if I didn't post for like a day, I would lose everything.
It's difficult for kids right now. They go home and it's constant. It's always there. It never goes away. They never turn it off. That's going to wear on you. That would wear on an adult.
Watch The Mind Inside, an I Love Public Schools film series on mental health. Episode 2 available now at iloveps.org.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
It pays to parlay with Elite Sportsbook. Receive a 50% bet match up to $25 every Sunday in December on your first 4-leg parlay. That's an easy $100 in free bets up for grabs in December. Plus, new signups can take advantage of their first bet being risk-free up to $500. Download the app today and play your game with Elite Sportsbook. Valid only in Iowa. Must be 21. Gambling a problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
At Ronald McDonald House Charities in Omaha, we know that it's the little things that provide the most comfort. A hot cup of coffee in the morning or the smell of clean laundry. Just like you, our families appreciate those little things in our house. When families travel to Omaha for their child's medical care, they need those little things to get through it. They find them at Ronald McDonald House Charities in Omaha, where the little things make the biggest difference. Learn more about those little things and how you can help at rmhcomaha.org.
I'm one of thousands of women with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body.
I'm living in the moment and taking Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy.
Be in your moment. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com.
Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR, but with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 4.98% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 4.98% APR to 19.99% APR and include a 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Join Robbie Lula for the Creighton Athletics Hour. They're talking all things Blue Jays, so you don't want to miss it. It's the Creighton Athletics Hour, Thursdays, starting at 6 o'clock, only on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and your 1620 The Zone mobile app.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
The story of that commercial break is, it's over.
On 1620 The Zone.
We always have an interesting dynamic when Robbie is here with us because Robbie uses this time to also catch up on his protein intake. Usually it's the chicken nuggets, but hold up for those of you watching on the YouTube and the Twitch. By the way, hello to everyone out there playing the Pong today who took time out. But let's get a close up here. Robbie's going with the bag of Hormel pepperoni.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Hormel pepperoni with 25% less fat, as you can see.
From the same people that brought you the beanless chili.
That's true.
Hormel.
That's true.
Bag of pepperoni.
You want to really impress me, Robbie?
What's that?
Just bring in a can of Spam next time.
No.
Ew.
No.
Oh, Spam is good. Have you ever had Spam?
Yes, I've had Spam.
You got to fry it up, though. You got to fry it up.
Okay, well, you tell me that. Well,
I'm not.
Next time you come in, Josh has to give us more notice than he normally does when he's gone. But tell me, and I'll bring in a hot plate, and we'll fry up some Spam, and I'll join you.
Let's do it.
You bring in a can of Spam. I'll bring in a can of Spam. Nick apparently doesn't like Spam.
So you and my dad are around the same age, and
I don't know.
I'm saying you are.
Oh,
around.
Yeah.
And Spam is just a thing that people around your age like.
Yeah.
Like actually like.
It's
My dad fried me
delicious.
up some with some eggs one morning.
It's delicious.
It's not good. It's not good.
What do you mean it's not good?
It's not good.
It tastes like salty meat. Salty meat is good.
I do love salty meat.
Especially after you fry it up and you get that little caramelization. By the way, the Spam's not the only. I believe I saw Pop-Tarts.
Oh, yeah. I also have Pop-Tarts.
So pepperoni and Pop-Tarts.
This is in case I have a low blood sugar during the show.
That's the gamer diet.
That's good, though.
And then I also have, hold on.
Oh, there's more. There's more. What else? What else are we going to have? Oh, the Diet Pepsi.
Lots of Diet Pepsi.
Well, that doesn't help you with the blood sugar, though.
No, this is just because I get thirsty.
Oh, okay.
And I like to drink it.
You like Diet Pepsi?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
This is a Coca-Cola studio.
Well, listen,
right?
I go through phases of Diet Pepsi or Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh, okay. Sure.
I love Diet Mountain Dew, but every once in a while I just drink too much of it. And I have to take a break.
And then you get like the shakes.
No,
like all of you on Twitch can relate. You get the shakes because too much of the caffeine intake and stuff.
No, I really don't. I really don't get shakes or anything because caffeine doesn't affect me anymore. But the taste. I get too much of the citrus.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then I need to switch to a dark cola for a while. Sometimes I'll do Diet Coke. It depends on whatever's on sale. I don't really have a preference on the colas as much, but Diet Mountain Dew is the only clear soda that I'll drink.
Well, it's not clear. It's green.
Well, it's clear. You can see through it.
I guess. Okay, I'll give you that.
Clear isn't like white or it means you can see through it.
Oh, well, I always thought of the clear sodas as the Sprites, the 7-Ups. I guess I didn't. The stuff that doesn't have food coloring in it.
Sure. It's just a lighter food coloring.
Minnesota Husker commenting on the is he on the Twitch or the YouTube? He's on the YouTube.
He's on the YouTubes.
Says, I lived in Austin, Minnesota, where Hormel is headquarters. I had all kinds of contacts that could have gotten you all kinds of Hormel products. Some you can only get locally here. That's part of the reason why I was big into the Spam, because my father worked for Hormel when they had the plant
Fremont,
in
right?
Fremont.
And
so that's how we got. That's how I got to loving the Spam. And there was a time there that Dad was really upset with Hormel's because they weren't a great employer. And he like put a kibosh on buying all Hormel products. I either had to go with the off-brand Spam. I think there's another. What was the name of the other? There's
Maps. That's just Spam spelled backwards. I don't know.
No, but there was another Armor Meats. They had like a canned meat product, but it was not as good as Spam.
You ever been to the Spam Museum up in Minnesota?
I have not.
I bet it's in Austin, Minnesota.
I think it is. It's an insane place. It's a fever dream.
Yeah. Mike says turkey pepperoni is a go-to for me. I will eat a bag of that for lunch.
See, I've done the turkey pepperoni before, but
not a fan.
It's okay. The flavor's not as good because it doesn't have the fat content.
Yeah.
So I got the low-fat version of the pork pepperoni, and that was kind of my compromise.
Yeah.
I'll do a lot of like charcuterie and pepperoni and stuff for snacks though, just to avoid the carbs,
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's great. I bought a bunch of it this weekend. I've got a ton of it in my fridge. So I got my bag of pepperoni. Most of it's nicer than the pepperoni, but like it's actual charcuterie. But this one comes in a nice resealable bag, so it was good for transportation.
See, that's the thing I enjoyed was we had the little charcuterie spread out for Thanksgiving, which of course doesn't make any sense. You're having meat and then you're going to have more meat later, but that's beside the point.
Listen, double meat's always a good idea.
I'm a big fan of the spread.
The spread.
Also, the celery with peanut butter.
No.
Yes.
Get out of here.
I can do without that.
Wow.
Why do you have celery and peanut butter?
So you can have a device to eat the peanut butter.
Yeah, you can use a lot of other devices, crackers, apples, anything that's not celery.
Yeah.
Your finger?
It's just part of it. I don't know.
Just
what
get
I
a
grew up
spoon.
around.
Yes.
Can't eat a spoon, John.
No, eat a spoon full of peanut butter.
You can eat the peanut butter off of the spoon.
Right.
Well, then you don't have to do that thing where you have to like lick it off the spoon and then like the
Yeah, but
spoon's
that's half
just-
the fun. Soup or salad on the Twitch is asking, is the Red Bull cooler behind Nick propped open? It only looks that way.
Yeah, it's not open.
It's not open. That's the one we don't get. That's the Severe and Benning Red Bull cooler. We don't care about that cooler. We only care about the one below. That's the big fridge.
I got a call from Patrick. He said that there's a local restaurant here that has Spam on the menu, which I'd never seen before.
Did he say which restaurant?
No, he gave a general. It's like 192nd and something.
Good for them.
That's out on your neck of the woods, all the way out in western Nebraska there.
Beyond I'm much
like Josh
beyond
never left.
those yeah, it's much beyond that neck of the woods. By the way, as Omaha keeps growing, how do you keep building? Do you keep expanding the wall of greatness?
Yeah. So
where is the border for the wall of greatness?
It's outside of Gretna. I like the outlet mall, so we're going to include the outlet mall.
So you included the outlet mall.
Yeah. So as long as it doesn't
just
get
on the other side, forget about it.
Yeah, 100%.
So it basically stops at that rest stop at the top of the hill.
Yeah. So it's what is it? Highway 6 that goes across there.
Yeah.
Highway 6 is the border.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
It does. It makes sense.
Have you ever eaten any other meats out of a can?
Well, define meats out of a can. I mean, like little Vienna sausages.
Sure, yeah.
I've had that.
Okay. You ever eaten chicken out of a can?
Yes.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it works in a pinch.
It's weird because it smells like tuna and then it tastes like chicken.
Yeah, I know. And that's where I get a little, because I don't like fish.
You got to cook it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to warm it up, and then that usually gets rid of the tuna smell. And then it's just chicken. I make like little ramen bowls with it.
So when you warm things up,
yeah,
it gets rid of the tuna smell.
Well, just the canned chicken.
Oh, so that doesn't work for everything.
No.
Oh.
Most times, like with actual tuna, it makes the tuna smell worse.
Oh, okay.
But with canned chicken specifically,
I'm just trying to figure this out, because if we can warm things up and get rid of the tuna smell, there's a lot of problems we can solve. But if it only works with the canned chicken,
I believe it only works with the canned chicken.
Yeah.
I haven't properly vetted the experiment.
Sure. I'll tell you the canned, it's not really a meat. Well, there's meat in it. I haven't had it for a while, and I used to love it as a kid. Chicken a la king.
Oh, what is that?
Chicken a la king is basically just creamed chicken.
Oh.
It's like creamed chicken with peas and carrots, but you put it on toast.
Oh,
what?
Oh, it's good. It's very good.
Is it like chicken salad, basically?
No.
What's
think
the
of it
cream?
like a chicken stew almost. So it's creamed chicken and it's in a gravy and it's got some peas and some carrots and maybe some celery in it. And you heat it up and you make some toast and you spread it on the toast.
That sounds horrifying.
It's delicious.
I could see that.
That sounds
That's fair.
terrible.
Chicken a la king.
Robbie.
Yes.
Andrew really wants to know what flavor of Pop-Tart you're eating.
Brown sugar cinnamon.
Ew.
Those are the best ones.
I'm out on those.
Brown sugar cinnamon are by far the best ones.
I know.
Those are good.
I can also accept cherry and strawberry.
Agreed.
But brown suger cinnamon are my favorite ones.
I know it's a hot take for me to not like those. I just never have.
They're the best.
I'm
I
a
love
blueberry
I love
guy.
those. They're the best. I agree.
Blueberry, meh.
And I can do both the frosted and the unfrosted of the brown sugar cinnamon.
I can. I obviously prefer the frosted.
Sure.
But growing up, my mom would only get the unfrosted because she was convinced they were better for me, even though the nutrition facts are almost identical.
Yeah.
But so I have a long history with the unfrosted Pop-Tarts. I only buy frosted now because I'm an adult and I can do what I want. But
fair.
I can do either in a pinch. I'll do an unfrosted in a pinch.
Dumb debates apparently started earlier today. Well, it's not really a debate.
It's not really debates. It's just
that'll be
talk
later.
About Rafi's food that he
Well,
brought
I
to
just
the-
happened to notice because normally it's like a chicken. It's a couple
It's
of boxes
true.
of chicken McNuggets.
It's true.
Or it's the turkey chili.
Well, so I had
But this was different. I saw pepperoni and I'm like, wait a minute, this is different.
So I didn't need a full meal during the show because I ate. My wife made some lobster mac and cheese, and so I ate that for lunch around noon.
You have lobster mac and cheese.
Yeah.
She makes lobster mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
She's a professional chef.
I like to live in your gated community.
Well, listen, there's not a gate. We just live on a lake.
It's not canned lobster, is it?
No, it's like real lobster and scallops. Well, it's like a seafood mac and cheese. There's lobster and scallops and shrimp is there lobster, scallops and crab? No shrimp.
It sounds good.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And so I had that for lunch.
Yeah.
And so I didn't need a full meal. The 40 nuggets would have been overkill at this point. So I just grabbed
just a bag of pepperoni.
So I grabbed a bag of pepperoni and some Pop-Tarts.
Fair enough. All right, coming up, we've delayed it long enough. Nebrasketball.
Yeah.
What in the hell?
I mean, my -7 looked pretty good.
Yeah, I was thinking about you last night as I got home and looked at the score, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
Basically, as soon
Robbie
as I
ended up covering ×5.
Basically, as soon as I turned it on, I was like, "Oh, I'm good."
No drama here. We'll be back with more in a minute. Streaming live today on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow us and be a friend of the program. 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio. This is 1620 The Zone.
We are courtside. KP here with more satisfied and happy John Higgins Weather Guard customers.
Number one, it was reputation. We found ourselves with a hailstorm roof damage and needed to figure out what we were going to do to remedy it. I've seen a lot of John Higgins around town and had him do the work for us, and we were very satisfied.
Make the right call, fans. America's leading installer of Da Vinci roofs and roofs of all styles. The rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard, providing the highest level of customer service with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau.
Oh, Sparky, I just can't get into the Christmas spirit this year.
Well, Ellen, let's kick off our old-fashioned family Christmas by heading to Blitzen, Omaha's only full-on Christmas pop-up bar. In the heart of the Blackstone District, hidden under Blackstone Social. Blitzen, all Christmas cheer, all season long. Over-the-top holiday decor and our delicious Christmas cocktails. You'll have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby sang, you know the rest. Open now through the holiday season.
Oh, Sparky.
BlitzenOmaha.com for more.
I'm Bo Starkle, founder of Wine, Beer, and Spirits. Located in Omaha, Lincoln, and Grand Island, our stores are up to 50,000 square feet. We have the biggest selection, great prices, a bar, and awesome staff. We are locally owned. If the pandemic taught us anything, it's the importance of supporting local. Keep supporting Wine, Beer, and Spirits. Keep supporting Nebraska.
Wine, Beer, and Spirits. In Lincoln at 27th and Kensington and Lincoln Crossing. In Grand Island on Allen Drive in the Eagle Run Shopping Center. Across from Oakview Mall in Omaha. And at winebeerandspirits.com.
Guys, 2021's been a roller coaster year, so spoil her this Christmas by giving her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts. Sensuous and smooth, naturally nude pajamas feel just like her own bare skin. Even more alluring than lingerie, the texture and touch of these pajamas is so seductive that you'll both love the feel of them. She'll love the feeling of wearing next to nothing at all, and you'll love the way they look. Check them out at Pajamagram.com. Best of all, Pajamagram does the wrapping for you with free gift packaging. Order today, and Pajamagram will also include a free matching naturally nude nightie with the purchase of naturally nude pajamas. That's free gift packaging and a free naturally nude nightie when you order today. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com.
In a world where the theater-going experience is little more than sitting in a seat and watching a movie on a simple large screen comes the all-new ACX Cinema 12 Plus Backlot Pizza and Kitchen. The ACX 12 Plus offers luxury heated recliners with a 70-foot wide, 50-foot tall screen and 60 Dolby Atmos speakers, creating an immersive movie-going experience. Perfect for holiday blockbusters. Add Detroit-style pizza and craft cocktails, and you have ACX Cinema 12 Plus Backlot Pizza and Kitchen, 204th Street between Q and Harrison in Elkhorn.
It's that time of year again, so I got you a little present. My festive holiday feast. Get one of my medium specialty pies, like my classic combo, or my taco pie, plus a medium one-topper, and my sweet cinnamon monkey bread with festive holiday sprinkles. All this for only $28.99. I always get sentimental this time of year. About pizza. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Well, when you hear things like this from your head coach,
I can sit here and pretend I was a
very good player, but my shot wouldn't fall, and I was going to run through a wall and find a way to impact the game. And we had no fight, just no fight tonight, and that's the thing that just it's very disheartening.
By the way, kudos on the overpronunciation of the T there. No fight.
I was going to say he was very he was really spitting those consonants out.
Yeah. When you hear about a team not having any fight,
that's not great.
That's a bad sign.
It's not great.
That was one thing you didn't hear about this Nebraska football team, which is probably a big reason why a lot of people are still hanging on, clinging to hope.
Probably the only reason Scott Frost still has a job.
I would agree. But
right? I mean, that's fair, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
If at any point during the season this Nebraska football team had even looked like they were quitting, he'd be gone.
Yeah. But last night was
brutal.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. It was good for like 5 minutes, and then Michigan went on a run, and that was it.
Identical 51 spots in first and second half for Michigan. That's hard to do.
Yeah, and on the road.
Yeah.
On the road to boot. And when you look
in conference,
when you look at the specialty stats, I call them the specialty stats, the points in the paint, points off turnover, second chance points, fast break points. You look at minus the bench points. Bench points got a little out of hand there. But if you look at the other four, yeah, Michigan had a slight edge in all three. And you look at those, that's not so bad. But then you look at the 3-point shooting.
Look at the just the shooting numbers.
The shooting in general.
I mean,
51 to 32%. But I mean, 10 more made threes, and Michigan shot it three times less. Nebraska 5 of 35. I believe the stat was they ended the game 2 for their last 29.
Yeah, because they started 3 for 8. I believe they started
2 for their last 29.
So it would have been 2 for 27, I think, if the math's right.
But just hideous.
I mean, I don't really understand it because I don't look at the individuals as bad shooters. Right? Like I look at
individually, you got guys that you think should be able to shoot. Man is a 3-point shooter.
CJ Wilcher is a 3-point shooter.
CJ Wilcher, 3-point shooter. Webster, 3-point shooter. Verge can hit a three. McGowan's.
Tominaga.
That's
all he does.
Yeah. He's basically their Mitch Ballack.
I mean, let's be respectful to Mitch Ballack, but
well, in terms of his range.
in terms of
his range.
I'll say in terms of his role.
And his role. But his range.
But yeah, I mean, and so here's the big difference though for me, right? Creighton has guys that I think are going to be good shooters, but aren't quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Alexander, I think, is going to end up being a good shooter. Ryan Emmert, I think, is going to end up being a good shooter. I think that Arthur Kaluma could end up being a good shooter. I'm not as sold on him yet.
Mm-hmm.
But they're shooting under 23s a game, which is very abnormal for a Creighton basketball team, right?
Very, yes.
But they understand where they're at in their skill sets, and they're not shooting 35 threes a game. This team in Nebraska should be better shooters than that. I get it. You look individually, they should be better shooters than they are. But they're not.
No.
They were coming into the game shooting 27% on the season. That's lower now after a 5 for 35 performance.
I believe I just saw someone tweet this out. Nebraska is now, I wish I had it right here. 351st in three-point shooting. There are 358 teams that play Division I basketball.
And they shoot a ton of them.
Yeah, 35 last night.
A ton of them. They're down to 25% on the season. They dropped 2 points last night. 25% shooting threes on the season. And they're still shooting 35 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more. Not quite half their shots came from three.
Almost exactly.
Even though Michigan hit 15 of 32, less than half of their shots. They had 32 3-point attempts on 76 overall field goal attempts. Nebraska's 35 threes on 72 field goal attempts.
Yeah. Michigan had more 2-point makes than Nebraska had total field goals. Take away the 15 threes. You take those away, Michigan still made more field goals than Nebraska.
Total.
total.
Mm-hmm.
They had 24 twos. Nebraska made 23 total field goals. That's not going to add up. And then you go into it even further. Okay, let's look at some of the other stats. 54 rebounds given up. 54. If you're going to miss 70% of your shots and half of those are threes, meaning you're probably looking at long rebounds, you have to just crush it on second chance points. They had 10. If you're going to miss 70% of your shots, you got to get more than 10 second chance points.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
Well, and the other part about last night was, especially in the second half, and in fact, Fred talked about this. Here's the audio. Here's some more of the audio from last night. Here's Fred Hoiberg.
You know, I've never been a part of one like this where we just quit competing, and, you know, it's so discouraging. Missed shots early. It affected our energy all over the floor. After playing a game last week, a couple days ago in Indiana, where the shot wasn't falling in, but man, we competed and guarded and rebounded and followed the game plan. Today, it was just, we were completely out of it. It's embarrassing, it's humiliating, and got to find a way to fix it. But it's very, very discouraging what I saw out there as a group collectively.
There were a series of video screenshots from Dirk Chatelain last night just showing Nebraska's lack of effort.
Defensively, especially.
On the defensive end.
Yeah.
Whether it was off of missed shots or just in regular, quarter court sets. And I hear Mac talk about this all the time, but one of the hardest things to do is when you're not playing well offensively is to have that same mindset carry over to the defensive end, because unlike football where, offense makes a mistake, well, defense will come in and clean it up because it's
11 different guys. 11 different guys, right?
In basketball, you're playing both ends. And you can tell, I mean, that's one good early barometer about what kind of team you have is, are they still locked in? Are they still carrying out their game plan? Are they giving good effort on the defensive end when on the offensive end, which is where all of your statistics come from?
Yep.
If your shots aren't falling, or if you're turning the ball over too much, if you're still at least bringing it on the defensive end, then as a coach, you can look at it and say, it just wasn't our night, but at least we gave the effort. But when the shots aren't falling on the offensive end, turns into half-assed effort on the defensive end, that's when you have a big problem.
You have a real problem there. And that's, I know I keep bringing this back to Creighton, but it's the other local team here, right? That's one of the things I've been most encouraged about with this Creighton team, is because this has not been a particularly explosive offensive start for Creighton to the season.
No.
But defensively, they are always there. Even when they're getting bombarded by Colorado State, their effort defensively was still there. There was no quit in that team at all. Whereas Nebraska, it seems like the only time they showed any fight this year after they got bombarded was against Creighton, where they get down 19, Kobe Webster, the shots fall, and so they have that energy to kind of continue, right? But if those shots for Kobe Webster don't fall, they probably fold the same way they have in just about every other loss we've seen this season. And you can't have one end of the floor be contingent on your success on the other end of the floor.
Exactly.
Especially when it's an offense when it's the defense being contingent on the offense. You can sometimes get away with, hey, our defense needs to create opportunities for our offense. You can sometimes get away with that style of basketball because then you're first and foremost focused on offense, and anything you get going on, or you're first and foremost focused on defense, and anything you get going on offense is a bonus. But when you're a team like a Creighton or a Nebraska where offense is kind of your bread and butter, you have to make sure you're locked in defensively no matter what, because otherwise things like this happen and it gets ugly in a hurry.
Yeah, it does.
And there's really, I mean, that's kind of a cultural thing at this point. And I don't know if that's a mid-season fix. Like getting guys to buy in to the defensive process.
If that hasn't happened by now,
that's what I mean.
I mean, it takes some deep soul searching.
And like I said, I don't know if that's something you can do mid-season, especially when you're, a couple weeks away from being full-fledged into conference play. You're not going to have a lot of easy outs in the Big Ten conference schedule, even if they're not as good as they were last year, this could be a real problem moving forward for the Huskers. And one of many that I don't think are fixable in season. I don't think the rebounding is fixable in season. And that's another kind of effort thing or team strategy thing or commitment thing that I don't know that you can fix in season. The shooting, I don't know if you can fix in season. Nebraska's got a lot of problems that I don't know that are fixable in season.
There's too much good individual talent to have these problems, but therein lies the other rub. Are they doing too good a job of acquiring good individual pieces without having a fit to what it is they want to do? Because that's been one of the biggest criticisms of Fred Hoiberg is I'm not quite sure what it is they're trying to accomplish.
Well, and so I know what from his past offenses and from what he says, I think I know what he's trying to accomplish. From the players he brings in, I have no idea what he's trying to accomplish.
Right.
And I think I know the reason for this, but I'm not totally sure. From what I understood when Fred Hoiberg came back to college to coach in Nebraska, his big hang-up was recruiting. He doesn't like recruiting, whatever, right? So he brings in Matt Abdelmassih.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on how hands-off Fred Hoiberg really is in recruiting, and this is not, I'm not hating on Matt Abdelmassih. He's brought in talented players. But if there's a miscommunication there between the fit of players that he needs versus the talent level of players that he needs, I mean, they haven't brought in a true point guard except Kobe Webster.
Right. And he comes off the bench.
He comes off the bench and he's from the Summit League. No offense, but come on. You're a Big Ten team. And I get that he's probably missed on some higher level point guards, but at some point, you have to go to Matt Abdelmassih and be like, hey, I need a point guard that does X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
Get me the best version of that you can find.
Right.
Not the best point guard or guy you think you can turn into a point guard that you can find.
Which is what they tried to do with Alonzo Verge.
It's what they tried to do with Alonzo Verge, what they tried to do with Delano Banton. And listen, I get that Banton's having some success now professionally, but I don't think you look at him and say, hey, yep, that's our primary point guard right off the bat. He was a project as a point guard either way. And so if you're Fred Hoiberg, you have to go and say, this is what I need from my point guard. Find me the best guy that does these things. And if that's some 3-star from South Dakota, fine. I don't need it to be a high profile transfer.
Right.
I don't need it to be a 4 or 5-star. I need somebody that does those things. Right. I mean, Marcus Zagorowski was a 3-star, according to some publications. Ryan Nembhard was a 3-star, according to some publications. You don't think either of those guys would make Nebraska a million times better over the past few years?
Oh, it would have been a huge difference.
Night and day, right? Because there are other good pieces on this roster, but CJ Wilcher doesn't create his own shots, right?
No.
Bryce McGowan's can't consistently create his own shots yet. That's not part of his offense yet. Lat Mayen doesn't create his own shots.
No, you got to spot him up.
Even Kisi Tominaga, to a certain extent, doesn't create his own shots. He tries to, kind of, but that's not really.
That's not what he's designed to do.
He's not at a Big Ten level at that yet.
No.
So you look at all these guys, and you say, okay, would I get more out of a Derek Walker if I had somebody that could feed him a little bit? So not even the guys that are just shooters, right? Would I get more out of a Breidenbach if I had somebody that could feed him into good spots a little bit? Look how good Ryan Kalkbrenner looks with Ryan Nembhard as his point guard. Right? Just the easy buckets he gets all the time.
Huge difference.
Just because he gets fed. He gets spoon-fed buckets. Nobody spoon-feeds buckets on Nebraska.
No.
And hasn't since Fred Hoiberg's got here. There's no easy buckets. Everything that Alonzo Verge gets, which he's an incredible individual talent, don't get me wrong, but everything that Alonzo Verge gets, he has to grind for.
It's Alonzo Verge.
By himself.
Yes.
And listen, it's really easy to criticize Alonzo Verge, and I've done it because I don't love the style of basketball that he plays. He's super talented, but for what Nebraska needs versus what his skill set is, that's a really tough fit. Same thing with Teddy Allen last year. Plenty of talent there, but a terrible fit for what Nebraska needs.
Yes.
And the role that he had to play for a team that couldn't afford to have him not play that role. And so when I look at that, and it just blows my mind that there hasn't been a conversation between Fred Hoiberg and Matt Abdelmassih or whoever the assistants are, they're going out and getting these guys and saying, Listen, I don't care what his profile is. I don't care where he's coming from. I have to have guys that do this, because that guy, if they had that guy on the roster, he unlocks the Tominagas and the Mayans and the Wilchers and the McGowans and the Walkers and the Breidenbachs. He unlocks everybody else, but they don't have the key to the door right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Alonzo Verge is trying to kick the door down.
Right.
And listen,
when you need a key.
And you need someone to open it. Because even if you get the door kicked down, believe me, I kicked down a door a couple weeks ago. I got locked in my closet. When you kick down the door, there's splinters everywhere, and you bloody yourself up, and you have to put a new door in.
You got to put a new door in, and meanwhile, while you're putting a new door in, the other team's back at the other end,
dropping 15 threes on
15 threes and getting easy offensive rebounds.
They've been looking for a key for 3 years, and they keep bringing in guys that are just trying to kick down the door.
Oh, and by the way, the guy who's in charge of getting the key is now taking time off because of.
Which I hope he's okay. Like, that's not what any of this is about, right?
No, exactly. But that's the thing. Now you're kind of in a behind a holding pattern when it comes to
you're behind the 8 ball even more.
Coming up, a team that has turned their season around and is now comfortably in first place in the AFC West. It must be Wednesday because it's time for Mitch Holthus. Stuff the Truck's coming up this weekend. Friday 3 to 6, Saturday noon to 6, Westwood Plaza parking lot. We need donations of new and unwrapped toys to help the kids this Christmas have a happy Christmas and a gift on Christmas morning. Head to 1620thezone.com for all the details.
Win $15,000 to hype up your holiday. It's the holiday spending spree on 1620 The Zone. Enter now at 1620thezone.com. Okay, hold on. First, decide what to do with all that money. Then enter to win at 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Cold start to Wednesday with temperatures in the low 20s. We'll see plenty of sunshine throughout the day. Southeast breeze around 10 to 15 miles per hour in the afternoon with highs in the mid-40s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Hey, everybody, it's Michael Severe for Kugler Vision. You want to enjoy your holidays? Well, how about treating yourself? Kugler Vision has affordable payment options right now. So even if you don't have a flex plan or health savings account, they're going to make it affordable for your budget. Enjoy the holidays with crisp, clear vision, the ones you deserve from Kugler Vision. Book your appointment now or take the vision quiz at KuglerVision.com. Remember, great deals right now. Going to take care of you. Get you right. KuglerVision.com.
Email Unsportsmanlike Conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Message and data rates may apply up to 5 messages a month. TNC and privacy policy found at warbyparker.com/terms. Reapply help for help or stop to cancel.
Do you wear glasses? Is it time for a new pair? Buying new glasses can be expensive, but with Warby Parker, it doesn't have to be. Warby Parker glasses start at just $95, including the prescription lenses. And they're as durable and well-made as the frames that cost hundreds of dollars more. Warby Parker glasses are made from premium materials, the creme de la creme, from custom-designed cellulose acetate to ultra-lightweight titanium. And lenses are equipped with scratch-resistant and anti-reflective coatings at no extra cost. Every pair of Warby Parker glasses is individually inspected and packaged to make sure every customer will be delighted by their new glasses. See for yourself. Get 5 stylish Warby Parker frames to try on at home for free. Just text LOOK to 64,000 to try on 5 pairs free. Text LOOK to 64,000. That's LOOK to 64,000.
The Zone's hydration station is social in Elkhorn at 192nd and Pacific, Omaha's newest and best football party with easy-to-drink specialty cocktails, mimosa towers, and 192-ounce mules. Come experience social, 192nd and Pacific, hydrating the Zone in Omaha this football season.
Everyone for Omaha as the Omaha Mavericks men's and women's basketball teams hit the court at Baxter Arena. It's fun for the whole family. Get your season tickets now at omavs.com/tix. Get out and support your Mavericks this season at Baxter Arena. Take in some basketball.
The hotline is powered by Lanahaw Nurseries, rooted in quality, unmatched value. This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
And you don't even have to use your fingers.
The 1620, The Zone.
Welcome back to Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Ravi Lula here for Josh Peterson, and John Bishop is joining us again.
Wow. Well, Cynthia wanted to say hi, and so
you got to say hi to Cynthia.
Yeah,
I
kind of breezed by without,
Well, that's rude.
Well, I wasn't going right by the front desk.
All right.
But she happened to be walking around, and they're getting set up. Apparently, we're having like a big open house.
Oh, fun.
Tomorrow for all of our friends of the program.
Okay.
Friends of the radio station.
Friends of the station?
Of the radio stations, if you will.
Our partners.
Which means I can talk to all of those people who are friends of 101.9 The Keg and say, you know how awesome it would sound if 1620 The Zone were on 101.9 The Keg?
101.9
Should I
The
do
Zone.
that during breaks tomorrow?
How about you let me talk about the keg?
Well,
talk about how awesome it is.
I am. How awesome it would be if
and how
1620 The Zone's programming
good
were
the
on.
music is and how good the music sounds.
Well, the bumps will sound great on 101.9 The Zone. I promise.
What about 101.9 The Keg Zone?
That's too wordy.
All right.
Is Mitch ditching us?
He sent me to voicemail 3 times. He didn't send me. It rang to voicemail 3 times.
Oh, man. Here I got all this Chief stuff prepared. Well, instead of Mitch, we'll go to Biff from Wisconsin.
Same thing.
Biff from Wisconsin on the Lanahaw Nurseries hotline. What's up, Biff? Wisconsin. What's up in Wisconsin right now?
Well, it's rebound city because watching the Huskers and seeing 25% from three-point, if you're committed to shooting 25% from three-point land, you better be 100% committed to rebounding because that's the only way out of the hole. Whoever was commenting earlier about saying they don't know if rebounding can be taught in the middle of the season, that's the only thing that can be taught at any grade is rebounding. Get the ball. If you don't have the ambition and the desire to get the ball, you have no desire or no business being on the court. And that's the key. If you've got the desire to get the rebound, then you've got the desire to play defense. You've got the desire to get the second chance points. And if you don't get those second chance points and you're shooting 25% from three-point land, you're going to be in the situation that Michigan put us in the other night, big time, a lot of the rest of the season. Because you have to be, if you're going to shoot the three, you got to be committed 3 times to rebounding. You have to. There's no other way unless you make every one of your three-point shots. It's a game that you can't catch up on unless you are a rebounder. I mean, that's what they ought to be working on right now is just pure rebounding because the ball, if you go to the ball, you'll bring the game to you. And that's the truth.
Biff, I can't disagree, especially when I look now. I've just opened up Nebraska's stats page. Offensive rebounds, Nebraska's 303rd in the country.
That's not good.
Rebound margin, Nebraska's 337th. So they do something almost as bad as shoot threes, and that's get rebounds.
And
those are 2 bad things. I don't know many teams that
can shoot that badly,
can't shoot and can't rebound.
Yeah.
I don't know many of those types of teams that go very far.
No, you're right. And listen, I've been pretty vocal about the fact that rebounding isn't that important, but what I mean when I say that is the difference between being a below average rebounding team and above average rebounding team in terms of winning games is almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the difference between being one of the worst rebounding teams in the country and being one of the best rebounding teams in the country, or even between being one of the worst rebounding teams in the country and being a below average rebounding team, now that has a difference between winning and losing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're kind of somewhere in the middle, and you're, okay, we usually get out rebounded by a little bit here, or sometimes we out rebound people by a little bit there. The difference between those and winning and losing is almost insignificant, statistically speaking. But if you're as bad as Nebraska is and you can't shoot, then yeah, it's going to make a huge difference in winning and losing.
All right,
and we've seen that.
So here's an example of what we're talking about. And I'm going to have to, because I switched to a different year here. But and I know these things by heart because I'm always updating my my spotting charts. But last year, in rebound, obviously last year Creighton was a good 3-point shooting team. They were top 25 in threes per game and top 65 in 3-point percentage. Their rebounding margin, though, was only 218th. This year, as we've already spelled out, Creighton's not as good a 3-point shooting team, nor have they taken as many. Their 3-point percentage is only 261st. But guess where their rebound margin is? Top 80. They're +5 per game.
Yeah, they've basically flipped those.
They've had to flip those.
Yeah.
Because you
can't be bad at both.
You can't be bad at both. It's hard to be good at both.
Sure.
Just by the nature of how 3-point shooting teams are typically built.
In my opinion.
But you can't be bad at both. Otherwise,
in my opinion,
what are we doing here?
My opinion is if you have to choose one or the other, I'd rather be good at shooting. That's where I land, right?
Because basketball is inherently an offensive game.
Well, and
in my
listen,
opinion.
at the end of the day, if you don't make shots, you can't win no matter how good you are at everything else.
True.
That is undeniable. You can't score on defense. Unlike football, you can't score anyway except for on offense, right? So if I have to choose one, I'm choosing shooting, right? But you have to be not atrocious at the other. And if you're atrocious at both, I mean, we're talking bottom 10% of the country for Nebraska in both. 10 to 15% of the country in both. You're going to have a really long year. And what's scary about the rebounding numbers particularly are most of those have been against bye games. They're getting killed on rebounds in bye games and non-major conference opponents, right? Until
very first game, Western Illinois got murdered on the offensive glass.
They've played a few now against Michigan, Indiana, NC State, and Creighton. They have 4 out of their 10 games. But this has been a trend since the very start of the season when their only major conference game, because they've played 3 major conference teams in a row, through the first 7 games, 6 of them were essentially bye games, and they were getting killed on rebounding in those bye games. So this is not a fluke in the sense of we're talking about, they've had this really tough schedule where we're talking about Texas Southern yesterday, right? All their stats are going to be wonky until they get to conference play, right? It's not going to make any sense. That wasn't the case with Nebraska. Through their first 7 games, their stats should have been way skewed in terms of looking better than they are. And the rebounding still looked that bad.
Yeah.
That's what's so concerning here is it's only going to get worse for rebounding and probably shooting as well. You don't expect to get better at shooting when you go face Big Ten opponents.
No.
You should have been better at shooting when you were facing Tennessee State and Southern.
You know what the interesting thing is? Last night tied a season high for offensive rebounds for Nebraska.
Yeah, and they got it rebounded by 16 still, I think.
Right.
54, maybe even more.
Yeah. But yeah, generally speaking, Nebraska's been hovering in the 6 to 7 offensive rebounds, 6, 7, some maybe 8 offensive rebounds per game.
And honestly,
category.
The only reason in my opinion, they got so many last night was because they shot 32% from the field and 15% from 3.
Sometimes the odds are you put up enough clunkers, eventually a few of them will come back.
Some of them will land to you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not enough of them did.
Mitch Holthus is going to join us in our next segment, so he'll be coming up next. We'll talk about the Chiefs, and then right after that, Mike Schaefer is going to join us in the video stream. That's where we are right now on our YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch accounts. If you're not already following, please do so. Just look us up, 1620 The Zone on Twitch or 1620 The Zone TV on YouTube. And, of course, you're already, chances are, if you're on Twitter, following us on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at USC 1620. We're streaming video live on all 3 simultaneously. It's the beauty of our new technology.
It's the technology.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. You can see us everywhere.
Today, I'm going to celebrate with, you know how they do the video daily double? We're going to do a video. Well, it's not a video. It's a visual dumb debate.
Ooh.
I have a visual dumb debate.
I like
for
it.
today. And I worked really, really hard on some
Whipple.
Some
Some Whipple graphics?
Some Whipple graphics. I got some Whipple graphics we'll get to. But coming up next, Mitch Holthus. He will not be seen in the video stream. I suppose we could create something for him.
Could create a caricature.
We could.
Or an avatar.
I'll think about that.
Maybe.
Think about that. I'm glad Stibbs isn't here to do it. Can only imagine what it would look like.
It would be horrible and disrespectful.
Very disrespectful.
I'm sure.
Especially now that the Broncos are in complete control of the AC West and they beat the Broncos for the umpteenth time in a row. Radon Defense Midwest, friends, as we're thinking ahead now, holiday season going to be around family and friends. Think about safety. Think about your home safety and keeping your family healthy from the exposure of radon. Radon is the number one cause of lung cancer in non-smokers. And because radon is created naturally from the breakdown of elements in the soil, it's something that happens very common in this part of the country. Eastern Nebraska and Western Iowa have some of the most concentrated rates of radon anywhere in the continental United States. But you can't detect it unless you have a professional radon test done, like the one you can get from Radon Defense Midwest. In fact, you can also save $75 off by visiting radonradio.com. Very simple. They bring in a device about the size of a cigar box, put it in your home for a couple of days. Then one of their licensed professional techs will download the information, go over everything about your air quality. And if you do have unhealthy levels of radon in your home, they can come up with the mitigation strategies custom made for your situation, because not every home is the same. Not every radon situation is the same. So get your level. Find out what your level is. Visit radonradio.com. Save $75 off right now off a professional radon test from the Radon Defense Midwest Pros. radonradio.com.
College football plays here every Saturday on 1620 The Zone.
It's that time of year again, so I got you a little present. My festive holiday feast. Get one of my medium specialty pies, like my classic combo or my taco pie, plus a medium one-topper, and my sweet cinnamon monkey bread with festive holiday sprinkles. All this for only $28.99. I always get sentimental this time of year. About pizza. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
It's the season for giving, and children in our area need your help. Our annual Toys for Tots Stuff the Truck event, powered by Westwood Plaza and The Zone, is Friday, December 10th from 3 to 6 and Saturday, December 11th, noon to 6 at Westwood Plaza, 120th and Center. Drop off a new unwrapped toy at either Stuff the Truck event to load up the Werner Enterprises truck. It's the time for giving, and with the help of 1620 and 1180 The Zone and Toys for Tots, you can help children in our area have a wonderful holiday season.
Now, you don't get to play as much as the offense and defense, but it must be cool to be called special teams. It just sounds good. What team are you on? The special team. That's tight, right? Oh, if you're a fan of special teams, you can just bet on those. My sportsbook app has prop bets, so have at it, people. It's a special app, people.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Brookside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. The WAVE technology at Brookside Medical was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now, and not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces immediate results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 402-671-7777. That's 402-671-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Brookside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 402-671-7777.
Hey, everybody, it's Michael Severe for Ted and Wally's 2 locations in Benson and, of course, in the Old Market. This is the time to give a great gift. And what is it? Ted and Wally's gift cards. 35 years in business. You can get great ice cream. You can get 35th anniversary merchandise. We got sweatshirts, T-shirts, hats, stocking caps, all of those in stock. And who wouldn't want some great ice cream for a year? The best holiday flavors in town, plus over 3,000 flavors to choose from your go-to. Order ahead, pints, quarts, and half gallons.
If you've got a personal auto insurance question, you could talk to a cab driver, although the policies he recommends might include avoiding the interstate, beating traffic by taking the back roads, and only making left turns when absolutely necessary. Or you could talk to your local Geico agent, whose policy is to use their expertise to navigate your insurance, finding the best route to help you save money on insurance for your home, car, and more. And as an added bonus, you'll be able to avoid traffic jams and potholes entirely. To find a Geico agent near you, visit geico.com/local.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
The following is brought to you commercial-free on 1620 The Zone by
Hy-Vee, shop Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle.
He is the most exciting announcer in professional football.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with jet propulsion.
Nobody makes a first down sound more dramatic.
They're going to hold the ball and stretch the chains. Do the Chiefs have it? They've got it! It's a first down! Kansas City!
No one else can keep up with the speed of Tyreek Hill.
Ankle tackle missed! 25, 10, 5, touchdown!
When you cross the Chiefs, you cross him.
No, listen to me, bud. Okay. Listen to me, Benedict.
And nobody has more passion for the Hy-Vee salad bar.
And it would be tasty for the Chiefs to get a touchdown here.
1620 The Zone, your home for the National Football League, presents...
Touchdown! Kansas City! Hungry Pig is passing!
The voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus.
There are times in my broadcasting career where, I feel proud of something that I've done. I had a good call. Like a couple of weeks ago when Ryan Nemhard hit the game winner.
Yeah.
I was kind of proud of that.
Yeah. It was a good call.
I thought I kind of nailed the call. I may have just topped that moment this season. So Mitch can't see this because he's joining us on the Lanahan Nurseries hotline. But Mitch, we're now streaming on video. We're simulcasting the program on our YouTube and our Twitch and our Twitter accounts. And I've created all these cool graphics. Literally in the 2.5 minutes or 3.5 minutes that we had in this commercial break, I was able to create, and I'm about to pop it up on the screen for all you watching, this beautiful graphic showing Mitch, the Hy-Vee logo, and the super voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, in Chiefs colors. And I did it in less than 3.5 minutes. Mitch, this is a crowning achievement in my life.
You are a multifaceted, multi-talented media mogul star.
Thank you.
Done.
I appreciate that.
I was just thinking I'm just counting how many times they've beaten the Broncos in a row in that 3 minutes. It's taking me 12 times in a row. The 8th longest streak in NFL history by any team over any other team. So it's starting to get historic. And it was tough. Denver did a great job, and Chiefs win.
What is the longest streak by one team over another? I remember
20. You just talk amongst yourselves. I'll find it.
Well, there was. I do remember, and this is going back a few years, but the Dolphins had a streak against the Patriots in the 70s and into the 80s that lasted a long time and ended in the AFC Championship game in Miami. It was New England's first Super Bowl when they got pounced by the Bears. 85.
Yeah.
And I want to say that the that ended a long it was either a long losing streak to the Dolphins or a long losing streak in the Orange Bowl. One or the other. But
we're getting there. So I'll try to find it here. But I think that's right. I think it's 20. I think 20 is the answer to that.
So I mean, the Chiefs are getting there.
Didn't the Patriots also
we're
have
getting there.
one against one of their other AFC East recently?
Probably the Jets, yeah, maybe.
I thought maybe
The
they
Bills. They had a
or
big one over
Bills.
the Bills.
Yeah, until Josh Allen showed up, but
Yep.
Well, and now it's starting
But
all
it's
over.
getting there. I mean, it's climbing as we speak. So
Mitch, this has been
I'll
such
try
a
to
weird
find it
year.
now, too.
Such a weird year. I mean, first season starts, defense can't stop a turtle. Then Mahomes becomes a turnover machine. Then the defense starts to get healed. Now folks are wondering if the offense is taking a step back. Oh, by the way, this whole time the Chiefs have gone from 2 games down early in the season in the division to basically 2 games up in the division, and steamrolling towards a 6th straight division title. Is this one of the weirder seasons of Chiefs football you can remember?
I think the NFL's having, at least the AFC's having a weird season right along with it. Kinda. The defensive 180-degree turnaround. I mean, 2019 was somewhat similar, but not like this. Not from being, oh my gosh, this is the worst defense of all time, to now, truthfully, in the last 5 weeks, it's been the best. They're giving up less than 12 points a game, and but it is strange. And here's part of it. Maybe I said this last week. I don't know. We spent 6 months. We love the NFL. It's the most popular game in our nation. We love it. But for 6 months, all we do is talk about it. So when we talk about it, we predict, we prognosticate, we create this in our mind, what we think reality is going to be. And then when it's so drastically different than what we thought it was going to be, we have a hard time accepting it. Well, just accept it. The Chiefs aren't the only ones not putting up 30 or 40 points a game. Who is? Because the AFC's not. And, I mean, when you win a game 14-10 over the Bills, and the Bills scored 6 points in a game against the Jags, but a team runs on you 46 times, that's Army-Navy. I mean, what's going on? It is different, but it's not just the Chiefs.
Mitch, you asked the question kind of rhetorically, what's going on? Do you have a theory of what is going on? Because Patrick Mahomes, as we mentioned, not the only guy we've seen maybe take a little step back this year. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, a lot of these really high-profile AFC quarterbacks have not been their same selves we've seen in the past couple of years. Do you have a theory on what's going on here?
I think a lot of it is defensive structure. And that's one. These are my theories. Defensive structures, they're not only playing us, a lot of teams are playing safeties back, and okay, we'll bend but not break. And that's kind of what the Broncos do. They're hard to score on. They'll give you a bunch of yards, and then you're just not going to score. We'll clamp down when it's arena football when you get down to the 20-yard line. And that's kind of right now the defensive vogue around the league, playing less man, less blitzing. I'm going to try to get off a 4-man coverage or 4-man rush. The second part is, I think, in dealing with the expectations. I think part of it is the offensive problem, and I don't think Mahomes doesn't chase stats, but he lives in a world of like, dude, you didn't throw for 400 yards. What's wrong? You won a game at 184 yards passing. Well, that was like Len Dawson's career. But so you have to have the mindset like Patrick's getting now of like, well, that's okay. We won at 22-9. We didn't turn it over, and we got plays when we needed to get plays. And you know what? This week we might pop a 40-burger on the Raiders like we did in Las Vegas. That's the mentality you have to have instead of going, God, what's wrong? You didn't get 30 points a game. Everybody thought the NFL was going to stay that way, like the Big 12. And the NFL's too good, man. People adjust. And I think the defenses are going, well, we'll give up yards, but we're not going to be as risk takers because we're not going to give up big plays.
Talking with Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, brought to you by Hy-Vee, official grocery partner of the Chiefs. It was 5 combined catches, 49 combined yards for Kelsey and Hill. Was that a product of Denver, or is that something, and we see this is a copycat league, teams try to do the same thing. Is that something Denver's better equipped for than maybe other teams left on the Chiefs' schedule?
Yeah, mostly Denver. That's a good defense, and they're fast. They've had injury at linebacker, Iowa Hawkeye Josie Jewell's down for the year. But the guys they replaced him with are actually faster and better coverage guys. Now it puts them more vulnerable against the run, but they're better equipped to play the Kelseys and Hills. Their DBs are good, we know that. And then they decided just to get physical with Kelsey. It was like, we're going to rough him up, and if we get a penalty, okay, we get a penalty, but we're going to try to rough him up. And, I mean, he got mad. That second play of the game, they're trying to, like, rip his head off, and he was ill-tempered the rest of the night. And so it was just off for both of those guys. But let's give Denver its due. They had a great plan. They've got the personnel to mitigate the Chiefs better than they have in the past. And so, yeah, but the Chiefs still won. I mean, to still win 22-9 when you're the Broncos going, God, we did this about right all the way down the line. They only got 22 points. We can, that'll work. We had the ball for 20 plays in 11 minutes. Oh, we didn't score. But, I mean, the Broncos had 72 plays. The Chiefs had 54. The Chiefs won 22-9 and ran 18 less plays in that game. So the Broncos were close. They were close to getting that thing done.
Can the Chiefs chase down the Patriots?
Yeah. Yep. Just got to, I know it's cliche, but you got to just think of the Raiders. There's no other game that's ever happened or will happen. But the answer is an emphatic yes. Maybe the Patriots will run the table. Don't think so. Were they going to lose? I don't know. You can win 14-10, but you can't win that way every week. There's going to be a week, even though we're sitting there, this sounds like a contradiction. There's going to be a week they're going to need 30. It's just coming. It's just the way it happens. So I think they have a loss in there somewhere. The Chiefs would have to run the table to get one game ahead of them. Then you got to look at conference games, and the Chiefs have, of course, their losses, their AFC losses. So that might hurt them if they tied with the Patriots, but they may not even have to worry about it. I mean, if the Chiefs keep handling their business, they may go into a 1 seed. And on Halloween, who was saying that around the earth?
Nobody.
Mitch, you mentioned the Raiders obviously coming up, and that was the game most recently where the Kansas City offense looked like the old Kansas City offense. Is there something that you see when looking at the Raiders that maybe explains that, or was that just kind of a one-off really good game for them a few weeks ago?
Okay, good question. But was it really looking like the Chiefs? Because think about how that game was won. Two things happened in that game for the Chiefs to get to 41 points and to be good on offense. Darrell Williams had 100 yards receiving as a running back. 2, the Chiefs had a great plan for Kelsey for the Raiders. He basically was playing a lot of H-back, motioning, but he was in the backfield. So they couldn't get up and just punch him on the line of scrimmage and try to wring his neck. He's in there and actually helped block a lot on Max Crosby, helping out Andrew Wiley. But then the Chiefs treated Kelsey like a running back. He would slip out of the backfield. He may not be the first option, but he became a really good second option. Because if you have a guy sitting there staring down Kelsey, I'm matching him up and I'm going to rough him up. Oh, he's not on the line of scrimmage, so I can't get a press on him, but I'm still watching him. And he stays in the block, it's taking that dude out of coverage. There's a whole bunch of traffic going on behind him. So what does that guy think? Well, I can't just stand here. These are all split-second decisions, but I'm gonna get back in this lane. I'll get into the crossing lane. They can't run crossers. What does Kelsey do? He releases, and he runs what a running back would run: a circle route, an arrow route. He can run a wheel route, and then all of a sudden, catch and yards after catch, missed tackle, and Kelsey ends up with 120 or 119 yards. It was brilliant, but it wasn't like the old Chiefs. They got to 41 points, but a way different scheme.
It's going to be a busy week, which is why next week, Mitch is actually moving up a day to Tuesday because the Chiefs will be playing next Thursday against the Chargers. Of course, this week, it's the Raiders. So we got Raiders Sunday, which, of course, you'll be able to hear on News Talk 1290, and Thursday Night Football next week against the LA Chargers. So going to have a busy week coming up, 2 huge division games. And now you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the light is at the end of a train that has Bill Belichick's face on it. So it's familiar. After all this weirdness, at the end of the day, it's all familiar. The road to the Super Bowl probably goes through Belichick or Kansas City, one or the other.
Yep, and Andy Reid. How about that?
And Andy Reid.
Coaches, two of the top 5 winningest coaches in NFL history are sitting here in the prime position to get the pole spot for the playoffs in 2021. In a year of weirdness, some things stay the same.
Absolutely. Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Chiefs, brought to you by Hy-Vee, official grocery partner of the Chiefs. As you can see on my gorgeous, beautiful graphics here on screen. Mitch, we appreciate the time. We'll talk to you next Tuesday before Thursday Night Football.
I will do that, and I've got to find this picture because I'll send you one. I'm wearing my Ed Cooley basketball camp shirt.
You have an Ed Cooley basketball camp shirt? How did you do it, Ed Cooley basketball camp?
No, but I wish I did. Brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
So, Ed Cooley, I'd go to his clinic, man. If he's having a clinic, I'll go there. I'll go to Bertrand, Nebraska. Ed Cooley's going to have a basketball clinic in Bertrand, Nebraska. Or in Burwell, right after the rodeo.
Well, if he does, then Mac's going to have something to say about that. He's like, you're on my turf. What are you doing here?
Max, he's got to deal with it. He's Cascade, Iowa. I mean, Ed Cooley's hometown is named after, like, detergent or a dishwasher soap. So Ed Cooley is a giant in the game of basketball. I'm an Ed Cooley fan. Go Friars. Just kidding. Go Blue Jays.
Mitch Holthus. Thanks, Mitch. You saved yourself there. We'll talk to you next week.
I'll go have a Dunkin' Donuts.
There he is, Mitch Holthus, ladies and gentlemen, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Christina with the best quote of the day. This is the reason I have two monitors at work, so I can look at graphics like this. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate that. I did. That literally put that together in 3.5 minutes.
That's impressive work.
I love
That's
your
a good
graphics,
job.
John. Honestly, I love them. They're great.
Well, Greg in Lincoln doesn't. He doesn't like the fact that I have MS Paint. No, it's Paint 3D.
Oh.
Paint 3D is the program that I have on this computer.
Program?
Or no, it's a program. We're a program.
We're the only grum here. Everything else
I didn't know
is
if it was a
Yes.
program.
Like,
No.
it's not Instagram. It's
There's not.
Instagram.
There's not. So there you go. Just added to the program. I'm not going to be able to. I don't know if I'm going to build graphics for this necessarily. Mitch is a regular. Josh Jones is going to join us, former Creighton Blue Jay, former Omaha Central
Oh,
Eagle.
nice.
Big announcement about a tournament coming to Omaha that next summer.
Okay.
And if you know what Josh Jones was doing last summer, it might give you a hint as to what that is all about. So Josh is going to join us at 4:30.
All right.
Talk a little bit about that. And it's Dumb Debates. My Dumb Debates graphics are very, very modest compared to everything else.
I'm so excited to see these.
Well, no, they were on last week. It's very modest. I now that I'm really mastering the art of all of this, I'll have better Dumb Debates graphics. By the way, Mike Schaefer joins us next. He just popped up in the green room. So we'll take a break and be back right after this on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. 80 and 680 are both free and clear. Not much is happening on L Street. Dodge Street between 90th and 72nd has some traffic going on. Looks like we just got reports of a disabled vehicle on Military Ave by 70th. My name is Conrad, and this has been your afternoon traffic.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Romeo's Mexican Food and Pizza.
Not your typical restaurant, not your typical place. Romeo's, not your typical restaurant, for your not your typical taste. Romeo's, Romeo's Mexican Food and Pizza. Not your typical restaurant.
Someone once said that the best part about memories is making them. So let's go and make some amazing holiday memories in Sarpy County, Nebraska. What kid, or even kid at heart, doesn't love driving around to look at Christmas lights? So be sure to hit Light Up Bellevue, Downtown Papillion, and the many displays throughout the county. Sarpy County is also a fantastic place for holiday shopping, holiday eating, and spending precious time with the ones you love. Click GoSarpy.com to plan your holiday adventure. So much, so near, so fun!
Finally venturing out? Stop by Cops Pizza, 72nd and Jones of the Shadow Lake Town Center to grab a bite, have a beverage, and watch the game. Cops Pizza makes delicious pizza, fresh salads, and tasty charred wings with a variety of homemade sauces. They even offer keto crusts. Or try a cream cheese pizza sauce. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Cops Pizza, 72nd and Jones, and the Shadow Lake Town Center. Or click copspizza.com to see their extensive Shadow Lake menu, pizza, and so much more.
The Creighton Blue Jays head up to Sioux Falls to battle the BYU Cougars. Saturday morning pregame at 10:30. Tip-off at 11. It's Creighton basketball Saturday.
Your home for Creighton Blue Jay basketball is 1620 The Zone.
The past year and a half has been a challenge. We've been reminded of the importance of following health and safety guidance from medical experts. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the NSCA. As teachers, our goal is to keep our schools open and our students in the classroom, because we know in-person teaching and learning is best for our students. We need your help to keep our kids healthy and learning.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the station.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
The Zone's hydration station is social in Elkhorn at 192nd and Pacific, Omaha's newest and best football party with easy-to-drink specialty cocktails, mimosa towers, and 192-ounce mules. Come experience social, 192nd and Pacific, hydrating the Zone in Omaha this football season.
Everyone for Omaha as the Omaha Mavericks men's and women's basketball teams hit the court at Baxter Arena. It's fun for the whole family. Get your season tickets now at omavs.com/tix. Get out and support your Mavericks this season at Baxter Arena. Take in some basketball.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Greeting, Earthlings. We have now taken over your radio.
Mike Schaefer.
See, I would argue, because I like to argue, we all underestimated how hard it is to, one, win college football games, and two, transition and take over a program.
Mike Schaefer.
I was trying to kindly tell Mr. Bishop the Vikings have a chance to surprise some people, and I think that they could even win the division.
Mike Schaefer.
It doesn't seem like the kind of book where they would be hooked on meth. That got dark.
Mike Schaefer.
Joining us live in the video stream today. Now, I didn't have time to cook up because I want really nice graphics for Mike Schaefer, not just ones I throw together at the last minute. So yours will be coming later, but I want yours to look very special, Mike.
I appreciate that. Can I take a few seconds here to say that I also really like Ed Cooley and Go Friars? Can I do that?
You can, if you want. Are you adopting them? Have you given up on the local team that you buy tickets for?
I mean, I don't know that you can watch the local team for 25, 26 plus years and really just give up on them now. If you catch my drift. So, I have not given up on the local team, but holy hell, am I not interested in attending Nebraska basketball games for the foreseeable future.
Well, but it's perfect timing because now all of a sudden your recruiting beat has spiced up. I mean, we've gone weeks and months, it seems like, without anything to talk about. And now all of a sudden there's like stars in the sky and there's visits and there's people actually engaged in recruiting. It almost feels like it's Christmas morning for you 3 weeks early.
Yeah, I don't know if I would quite call it Christmas morning. Oh. There should be something a little bit better than a middle tier 3-star underneath the tree. So, we'll
but there's visits. They're visiting. They're actually trying.
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska has definitely cooked things up here at the end of this cycle. Jaden Gould is a real possibility for them. That's a 4-star defensive back that was committed to USC for the longest time. Nebraska went in home with him yesterday. Brian Doan, our 24/7 Sports East Coast recruiting writer, I guess, if you will, has kind of been all over this one. And he thinks Nebraska has a pretty great shot here. If the kid wants to go ahead and finish it up, it feels like Nebraska's kind of a strong option for him. But he could also kick this out and choose to sign in February, which would open up visit weekends and and everything else. I think Nebraska's trying to wrap that up. Jaden Gould's really interesting. He is a 4-star. I think we have him in the top 247, which would make him by far the highest rated commit in the class. He would be yet another guy, though, that enters this class that has a little bit of an injury history. I think he got banged up again here in 2021. I think that has slowed some of the interest from other teams. But Nebraska clearly moving full speed ahead with him. And they're just looking to get bodies in that defensive back room. I mean, I think they just need to try to replace some of what they lost. And you know, we haven't talked about this a ton. They never really have replaced Ronald Delancey or Henry Gray or Jaden Francois from that 2020 class. So if you're looking around and you're thinking, man, it seems like they're after a lot of defensive backs, it's because they are. And whether it's portal or whether it's high school guys, they need bodies in that room, and they just don't have enough of them right now.
Yeah, Shafe, I think there's a couple other rooms they need some bodies in as well. Is there, in your opinion, how do you think the breakdown will be between transfer portal guys and high school guys as they kind of work to fill in some of these holes from guys that are leaving that maybe they didn't expect?
Yeah, I think that the plan kind of all along was they were going to take about 13 or 14 high school guys. They're at 11 right now, so you know maybe there's 3 more that you can sort of unearth here or that you add to the class, and then the rest were going to be portal, and that could go up to maybe the low 20s. It really just kind of depends on where the interest comes from. They want to find a nice blend of graduate transfer guys that will move on after a year, and then some guys like a Ryan Stapp, who visited this last weekend from Abilene Christian, that, you know, as a 2-year starter for Abilene Christian would have 3 years of eligibility after this being his first year that counted towards eligibility. And you would have an opportunity to get, you know, a multi-year player that way. So I think they're trying to blend what they look for in the portal with those immediate contributors with guys who have a few years of eligibility, because I think they got to try to balance this roster. They can't just go all after the graduate transfer senior guys, and they can't just take, you know, a class of 27 freshmen and add to their roster. They have to try to balance some of those middle classes, which has been ravaged by transfer or, you know, guys just leaving football or whatever. And there's going to be some more movement on their own end too. I've been a little surprised, perhaps even encouraged, if you will, how few people with many years or multiple years of eligibility have entered the transfer portal or have left the program on Nebraska's part at the end of the season. So maybe that's coming now that they have an offensive coordinator and offensive line coach. But so far, I think that it's been, you know, pretty manageable in terms of the guys that have left, and we'll see if there's another, you know, shoe to drop on that, so to speak.
Yeah, we'll talk more about Whipple and Raiola here in just a minute. But while we're on the subject of recruiting, of course, Mickey Joseph has hit the ground running, as you would expect, and they've been around his home state, as you would also expect. Of course, you know, the buzz is about top 100 ranked running back Trevante Citizen. You've got DeColdis Crawford. I mean, 2 of the best names in the history of college football, and they're both at least being talked about or talked to by Nebraska. I mean, are these realistic possibilities, knowing the caliber of athlete and the caliber of programs that are coming in? Or, you know, does Nebraska, you know, do they have a shot at either one of these 2?
Well, I think they definitely have a shot at DeColdis Frost. DeColdis Frost. I just made up the name on air. I don't know where Frost came from. Frost and Crawford aren't anything similar. I don't know. Whatever. We'll just chalk that up to sleep deprivation. But DeColdis Crawford, I think that they have a shot with. I mean, he committed right after picking up that Nebraska offer, and the Huskers stopping by to see him. He obviously has a good relationship with Mickey Joseph, who's the one wide receiver commit in the class at this time for LSU. And so he's a guy that, you know, you definitely think Nebraska has a real chance with. Trevante Citizen is that one's really kind of just, you take your shot and you see if it goes for you. I mean, it wouldn't happen if he doesn't come in for a visit. I think he has exactly 1 official visit left. Florida's really involved. Billy Napier has really kind of made a push now that he's over at Florida. Auburn has come in really hard for him. So it strikes me as that one's going to be relatively difficult, you know, for Nebraska, but we'll see. if they're able to kind of make any movement there. I'm trying to look up really quickly and I'm not finding it. They offered another athlete out of Louisiana that is another interesting guy, and I cannot come up. He has another name that is not on the level of Dakotas or Citizen, but it's another pretty good name, and it's someone to keep an eye on. If Alabama is full at wide receiver, the door might open for Nebraska there. I cannot naturally, when I need to find the name, I can't find it, and I'm just gonna miss out on it entirely. But they're being aggressive. They're taking the shots that they can absolutely take without really, there's no harm in it. I mean, if they're able to get these guys, great. If they're not, they'll have to find some other things. And I still think the most impactful of the wide receivers are more than likely coming from the transfer portal. So what they're able to do in that regard with Mickey Joseph is probably a little more interesting to me than if he's able to land any of these shots here in the last week before the signing period.
Shafe, obviously one of the most interesting transfer portal targets are going to be the quarterbacks that they have. Out of the guys that you've kind of heard names that are out there, I know Miles Brennan was getting some attention today specifically. Is there any one of those guys that you think Nebraska has a particularly good shot on, or is there any one of those guys that you think is a particularly good fit at Nebraska?
Well, it's hard to know a fit because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a Mark Whipple expert. It wasn't a name that I really knew until the last week or so.
Sure.
And so it's hard to just line that up perfectly. But I did talk with a former quarterback of his at UMass, and it did give me a sense that he is a pretty versatile offensive coordinator that can kind of build to the strengths of whatever his quarterback is. And so I think that you're going to look for a guy with a decently strong arm that's pretty accurate because he likes to disseminate the ball relatively quickly in this offense. And so I look at that and, if he's healthy, a guy like Miles Brennan could certainly fit. I mean, that's the new name, Parker Gabriel, I believe, from the Journal Star put that one out there. They're hosting a kid from Akron this weekend in Zach Gibson that it almost kind of feels like what Nebraska could do here is try to take two quarterbacks out of the portal, a younger guy that gives you a longer time to develop and a guy that you're going to plan on playing right away when you let him compete with Logan Smothers and Heinrich Harburg and Richard Torres, and however it plays out, it plays out. But that seems like that's sort of the strategy that it's going to be. I personally, because I like chaos as much as possible, would love to see Spencer Rattler in Lincoln. There's nothing tying him to Lincoln whatsoever. I am not tying him to Lincoln whatsoever. But from the very reaction that people have whenever his name comes up would make it pretty amazing to me how the Nebraska fans would sort of have to rally behind Spencer Rattler being their quarterback. And I kind of want to see that happen because I was just a bad person.
Isn't there enough chaos around here? Do we really need
No,
that?
I don't think so.
No?
More.
No?
I don't think that we're prepared for a world in which you go from a relatively polarizing quarterback that people loved his attitude but didn't love how he necessarily always played on the field to just a ho-hum quarterback. I don't want that. You don't want that. Your industry thrives on polarization. I run a message board, John. You
I know, but
people are going to be like, Zach Gibson threw a nice ball. And that's all they're going to say and hang up. Nobody wants that.
I mean, I just think about all the things. It's everything with Frost, everything with Martinez. You go back to Michael Rose-Ivy and the whole kneeling thing. I mean, we've had enough drama around here. Do we need any more?
More drama.
Right.
Spencer Rattler versus Caleb Williams. Let's go.
Nebraska isn't going to win games. Then they need drama.
Well, I want to ask you about Donovan Raiola, the offensive line coach. Outside of a year that he spent at Aurora University, which is a Division III school, he hasn't been a full-time assistant that was able to recruit, and you really don't recruit Division III. What concerns do you have about bringing a guy on staff, aside from whatever he can do for you in terms of coaching the offensive line, but someone who has virtually no experience in recruiting whatsoever, knowing, what Nebraska has to get done?
I definitely have concerns, but I I don't know that I can sit here and tell you that it hasn't worked for guys before. I mean, there's other programs around the country that have made hires where someone's never recruited before, and there are people that are able to slide into that position and they have success as recruiters. Recruiting is about effort. It's about putting in the time and the investment in a 17, 16-year-old kid and being present in the conversation. And if Donovan Raiola can do that, then he's going to be fine as a recruiter. The bigger concern I guess I have is that you effectively have 1 year to reach the mutually agreed upon metrics, or MAM for short, as I've started to call them. And in that 1 year, arguably one of the most important hires, if not, right there with Mark Whipple as your offensive coordinator, is the guy that has to oversee this offensive line that was so bad last year. And so I'm a little more hesitant, not so much about his recruiting acumen, but I mean, they had experienced options for an offensive line coach. They purposely chose Donovan Raiola, and I'm fascinated to know why. I'm sure they think that he's a really bright guy. He's obviously worked in the Bears organization for 4 years, but it's different when you're the one that has to have all the answers versus when you're kind of helping out and trying to scheme things up and point things out on film. So he steps from, he's right into the frying pan. And if we know one thing, I mean, the offensive line coach at Nebraska for about as long as I've been covering this has been about as unpopular as an assistant coach as there is. No one's been happy with the line play since Zach Wiegert was on the team. So, I mean, it's not an easy job. And you're asking a guy who basically has to come in and they have to bring in people from the portal. He has to try to keep Cam Jurgens. He has to try to turn Bryce Benhart into something, whether that's a guard or they can make him usable as a tackle. You have to figure out the home for Turner Corcoran. And he's never been in this situation before. I mean, that's where my biggest concern lies. And so, he's got a great last name. It obviously fits really well in the lore of Nebraska history. And, oh, by the way, his nephew's a hell of a quarterback. But none of that matters if he can't do the job in terms of fixing this offensive line. And there just has to be a ton of confidence in the way this interview played out. I mean, they just have to feel really good about him. Otherwise, I just don't know that you can make him your guy if you don't have that level of confidence. And I'm fascinated. I mean, really fascinated. We talked about Ron Brown last week. He has wealth of experience, years of coaching. And my concern was, what does he give you beyond, just sort of his knowledge? And here it is. What does Donovan Raiola give you into his youth and his life experience that he's going to bring to as a position coach? I'm just utterly fascinated by it.
Shafe, as far as the way the rest of the staff plays out, obviously you mentioned Ron Brown. The special teams coach is obviously a big hot topic. How do you see the rest of the staff positions filling themselves out and whether or not they bring on a special teams guy or not?
It kind of feels like they could position it in such a way that they don't have a full-time running backs coach. I don't know what runnings back is.
Runnings back.
Eventually I'll learn to speak again. So I don't know that they'll have a full-time one, but, Ron Brown will be able to handle stuff in practice if they wanted to go that route. You'd have to designate one of your full-time coaches as sort of the running backs coach on game day. That would be sort of who they have to talk to and who Ron Brown's talking to then talk to them. You can do that whole song and dance. It really does feel like a special teams coordinator is going to be on the staff. I mean, I just think that there's such an outside push that, Frost is considering it. He's got a guy like Bill Bush already involved in the program. And Ricky Brumfeld from Virginia actually coaches special teams and has coached running backs in the past. So there's options that they have. If I had to guess right now, I think they might be done on the offensive side of the ball. And the next hire would be a special teams coordinator. And who knows? I mean, maybe one of their defensive assistants leaves and you can reshuffle that side of the things too. But right now, I almost think I would, if I had to bet, and since I know this is a show that likes to bet, I would put my money on a special teams coordinator over a running backs coach.
All right, going
Or
back
a
to
running back coach.
Running's back coach. All right, going back to your Louisiana athlete. Is he listed as an athlete in the 24/7 composite?
I can't even find this guy. It's like I made it up in my brain.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. After the show, I'll figure out who it is.
right now. I'm looking right now. You've got Kendrick Law.
No.
He's listed as an athlete from Louisiana. Amorian Walker, but he's committed to Notre Dame. Roman Petrie. By the way, most of the names here on the Louisiana 24/7 composite, some fantastic names. Lorenzel Dubose, who is a cornerback committed to Louisiana Tech. I want another Dubose at Nebraska.
That's a Power 5 name, even if he's not a Power 5.
I found our man. Chaz Preston.
Chaz Preston.
Chaz.
That's a good name.
Shazz Preston.
Ooh, double Z. I like the Z. I was out until you gave me the double Z. Now I'm in.
All right.
He is on
Make it happen.
24/7 Sports Composite. He's the number 43 player in the country. So, if that falls into Nebraska's lap, that could be pretty exciting. But the chances of
Shaz, not Chaz.
Oh,
Shaz.
Even better. Like Shabazz Napier, but without the B.
Or Shazam without the am.
Got it.
Either way, it works for me. All right. Well, we've accomplished a lot today. One more thing. Friend of John on our YouTube with the do Ravi and Mike know they are twin brothers? Well, let's
Ravi, are you twins?
There's
are we? I mean, I think
Ravi.
I'm a little darker than you.
I don't know. I think my room's a little darker than yours. So
yeah. So who's got the better beard? That's a tough one.
I think Shafe does right now. I shaved mine all off in August, so I'm still growing back.
Yeah, I've got a homeless recruiting beard going on right now.
Yeah.
It's full.
Well,
it is full.
It's full.
It
it is.
full.
It's luscious.
It is full. They're both very full.
We're at the stage of beard growth, and Ravi might know this well, that whenever you eat something that has sauce on it, there's no way it won't be on the corners of your mouth or in the beard. Like we're at that level of annoyance now.
Well, it also looks like you're at the level that if you have chips or anything, that you 100% will have chips or popcorn or something stuck in the beard, and you'll never know.
Yeah. No, I feel like I constantly when I'm eating, I have like a paper towel or a napkin, and I'm like dabbing at my beard.
Oh yeah, constantly.
There's nothing in there.
The number of napkins I go through is absurd.
Yeah,
it's obscene.
At least there's the contrast because Shafe's got a darker brown, and of course, Ravi, yours is black. If I ever grew my beard out, the chips, you wouldn't be able to tell if the chips are in there because it's the same color as the
blend
hair.
right in.
Yeah. So at least you have that going for
It's true. It's true. I've got some gray coming in though.
A little,
not bad. It's starting to. Though.
I was gonna say
it's buried deep under there, but it's there.
You find yourself picking through there, trying to pluck them out one by one?
I don't. I kind of just let it happen. I'm not overly concerned about it.
All right. Well, Shafe, appreciate it. Thanks for joining us here on the video stream. Get some sleep because just think, a week from now we've got a signing day.
It'll be great. I look forward to coming on and talking about more runnings back.
Runnings back.
And coldest frost and whatever other stupid things I managed to say today.
Dude, if that was his name, it would be out of bounds. I mean, the coldest Crawford is already good, but
the coldest Frost.
He was the coldest.
Perfect.
That's what the Frosts need to name their next child.
Yeah,
boy or girl, it does not matter. The coldest is a gender neutral name.
He would be
the coldest.
He would be a Frostafarian messiah.
The coldest Frost. Shafe, take care. Thanks again.
See you guys.
There he is, Mike Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen, from Husker 24/7. We'll be back. Josh Jones is going to join us here in about 15 minutes or so. We haven't really gotten into too deep. I know we did yesterday on the program when the stories started coming out, but more on the hiring, the official hiring.
Whipple?
On Mark Whipple with graphics. So if you're watching in the stream, I have more graphics. They're not as cute as the Mitch graphics, but they're very informative.
Ooh, I like informative graphics.
Informative graphics. More on that coming up. It's Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Cold start to Wednesday with temperatures in the low 20s. We'll see plenty of sunshine throughout the day. Southeast breeze around 10 to 15 miles per hour in the afternoon with highs in the mid-40s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center, we had 2 disabled vehicles around Dodge and 680, but those have been cleared up, so we are good over that way. Not much is going on I-80, and it looks like L Street by JFK is starting to see some slowdown. My name is Conrad, and this has been your afternoon traffic report.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Spread some instant joy this holiday. Give Nebraska Lottery scratch and lotto tickets. They're the fast, easy, and fun way to make spirits bright. They make terrific stocking stuffers, party favors, and last-minute gifts. Top prize odds vary by game.
Creighton Sports Update. The Creighton women's basketball team hosts Arizona State at DJ Sokol Arena on Sunday, December 12th at 1 p.m. Your men's basketball team will also host Arizona State on Tuesday, December 14th at 7 p.m. Support your Blue Jays by getting your tickets today. Go to Ticketmaster.org, go Creighton.com/tickets, or by stopping by the Creighton ticket office located at Ryan Athletic Center.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Guys, 2021's been a roller coaster year, so spoil her this Christmas by giving her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas exclusively from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts. Sensuous and smooth, naturally nude pajamas feel just like her own bare skin. Even more alluring than lingerie, the texture and touch of these pajamas is so seductive that you'll both love the feel of them. She'll love the feeling of wearing next to nothing at all, and you'll love the way they look. Check them out at Pajamagram.com. Best of all, Pajamagram does the wrapping for you with free gift packaging. Order today, and Pajamagram will also include a free matching naturally nude nightie with the purchase of naturally nude pajamas. That's free gift packaging and a free naturally nude nightie when you order today. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com.
The end of riding season is never a good time, but it is a great time to trade in and trade up or sell it outright. Les Hills Harley-Davidson is selling, trading, and buying bikes right now. Sell your Harley-Davidson today. Les Hills Harley-Davidson. Rise up and ride on.
Want to know something about vaping? Then go to 42 Degrees and let our knowledgeable and friendly staff explain how vaping can help you quit cigarettes. With some of the best brands out there, 5-Star, Choice, Levels, and Aqua to name a few, and all the flavors you would want. The largest selection of salt juice. Why waste time elsewhere when everything you need to vape is at 42 Degrees? For hours and locations, go to 42degrees.com for all your vaping needs. Buy your mom's house.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Got a sink that won't drain? For a limited time, we'll open your drain for only $93 or it's free. Hi, I'm Mark Evans, owner of Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More. Sometimes a plunger just isn't enough. Burton's team of experts is on call 24/7 for emergency repairs. We offer upfront pricing, and your 100% satisfaction is guaranteed. Call for details on our 93 or free special or request service at justcallburton.com.
Everyone for Omaha as the Omaha Mavericks men's and women's basketball teams hit the court at Baxter Arena. It's fun for the whole family. Get your season tickets now at omavs.com/tix. Get out and support your Mavericks this season at Baxter Arena. Take in some basketball.
The holidays are here. Add to the cheer at Westwood Plaza, where you'll find that perfect gift. Stop by Half Price Books for the reader on your list. Want to get something for the truly young? Entertain and educate them with gifts from Lakeshore Learning Store. Or give them a spa day at My Princess Spa. Love your family, but want to escape for a bit? Escape from the Mind Meld Escape Room. Everything you need for the holidays is at Westwood Plaza. Professionally managed by Omni Partners.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. It's unsportsmanlike conduct
on the sack.
The 1620. The Zone.
Well, as you know now, officially, Mark Whipple is the new offensive coordinator.
Who?
Mark Whipple.
Mark Whipple?
Mark Whipple. And Donovan Raiola, brother of Dominic, former offensive line assistant with the Bears, is now the offensive line coach. Here's got some stats I can share for you. And those of you watching in the stream, whether it's on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, I'll post these as well. But
for the visual learners out there,
for the visual people out there,
excuse me while I whip up this house.
There, of course, is the graphic. Congratulations, Mr. Whipple is now a member of the staff.
Good.
You like that? That's
Love
pretty
it.
Cool.
Like it.
Now, in all seriousness, so I looked up. He was the coach at UMass, head coach from 2014 to 2018. Last 3 years at Pitt. So what I looked up was yards per carry, yards per pass attempt, yards per play, points per game, the percentage of run plays called.
Okay.
And then red zone percentage, red zone scoring percentage, and red zone touchdown scoring percentage. And those of you watching in the stream, the number in parentheses is the national ranking. And the first thing that stands out to you, or at least that stood out to me, was that Whipple's teams, pass it more than they run it.
Yep.
But when they run it, they're not particularly effective. The best national ranking that was this past, well, actually it was 2015 UMass, number 70 in the country at 4.3 yards per carry.
Yeah, I would call it quite bad.
Now, yards per attempt, yards per pass attempt, the one thing I noticed was a general progression in terms of progress.
From when he gets there
to when he gets there to when he leaves. Yeah. His second year at UMass, they were only 106th in the country in yards per pass attempt. But by the time he left, they were 10th in the country.
Yes.
And it also shows up in yards per play. 2015 UMass, 84th. By the time he left, they were 16th in the country. And the same thing can be said for Pitt. When he arrived at Pitt, by the way, he took over for Sean Watson. So there's your Nebraska tie. But when he took over at Pitt, he went from 103rd in yards per pass attempt to this past season 16th with Kenny Pickett. Yards per play from 106th to 22nd. And it also reflects in points per game. They doubled their points per game
in 3 years.
Yeah. They only averaged 21 points a game in 2019. Pickett was the quarterback then too, by the way.
Yep.
Okay. Pickett's been there for 5 years. He had him for the last 3. He being Whipple. They went from 21 points a game in 2019 to 43 points a game, third in the country this year.
Well, and you'll notice the other thing that I've noticed is, so look at his run percentages in correlation to those numbers, right?
Yeah.
They go up every single year also.
They do tick up. Now, he's never had a year where they've run it more than thrown it, but you're right.
They go up every year.
There's been a slight progression at 1% or 1.5% in terms of run plays called.
So, I mean, he's pretty close to 50% in general.
Yes. This last year, by the way, Pitt was 48.6% run.
His last year at UMass, they were 49.9. So, I mean,
basically 50.
Essentially 50%, right? But what I think is interesting is as those yards per attempt and yards per play numbers increase, so do the running percentages, even though the run yards per carry do not correlate.
Right.
So the commitment to the run increases the yards per play and the yards per attempt, even though the run is not particularly more effective.
Right.
Which I found very interesting.
I retweeted this from the at USC 1620 Twitter on JTech Construction for those of you who aren't watching along in the stream, so you can take a look at this, the exact same graphic. But those were the couple of things that stood out. Yeah, the running offense is nothing to shout about. He definitely likes to throw it, but there is a natural progression both in the UMass and in the Pitt numbers in both yards per attempt, yards per play, and points per game.
Well, and what I find interesting is
also in red zone percentage too, red zone touchdown percentage.
What I find interesting is that it kind of reminds me of Michigan and Iowa this year in the sense that there were times that neither of them were particularly strong in terms of yards per attempt or yards per carry running the ball, but their commitment to the ball or to running the ball was very strong. Even when things were not necessarily going the way they wanted to. And again, without having watched a ton of Pitt, I've watched him a handful of times over the last couple of years, but having not watched a ton of Pitt, it's interesting to see that as his offensive numbers improve, so does that commitment to the run to the point where they're almost 50-50 in his best offensive years. The other thing that I find really interesting about the Pitt numbers specifically is what you pointed out. This isn't like Kenny Pickett came in just this last year. All 3 of those seasons were Kenny Pickett.
And he's been there for 5 years. He played 4 games as a freshman,
red
and then
shirt
got the 4-game red shirt, then started most of the games
since then.
His second year.
Yeah.
And then of course has been the quarterback all 3 years with Mark Whipple.
So what I find interesting there is, we started this debate yesterday as it kind of started breaking that things were heading this direction, is that some people's automatic reaction to this is, well, of course they were third in scoring offense and, top 20 in red zone touchdown percentage and, top 20 in yards per attempt and top 25 in yards per play. They had Kenny Pickett, right? Well, they had Kenny Pickett for 5 years and were nothing offensively, right? So to automatically assume that it was a Kenny Pickett deal and not a Mark Whipple deal, I think is a mistake. Now, I can't tell you for sure that Kenny Pickett's improvement is because of Mark Whipple. I can't do that because I don't know. I wasn't there. But to assume that it was because of Pickett and not because of Whipple, I think is a larger assumption.
Yeah.
Considering the track record Pickett had before Whipple got there and in the first couple years under Whipple. I don't know that you can say definitively either way, but you are taking a pretty large leap of faith that it was strictly a Kenny Pickett thing.
Yeah.
I think there's just as easy of a chance that Pickett succeeded because of Whipple and not the other way around.
We'll have more on this in the happy hour, but we also have dumb debates coming up. But coming up next, live here from our Host Coffee studios, we're going to be joined by former Creighton Blue Jay and Omaha Central Eagle Josh Jones, the head coach of the Omaha Blue Crew, the team that played in the basketball tournament. Big announcement today about the basketball tournament. So we'll catch up with Josh, and then it's dumb debates, and we're, of course, live here on the video stream. So join us on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, and we will continue with more of Unsportsmanlike Conduct next on 1620 The Zone.
NFL Monday Night Football plays here on 1620 The Zone.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes. The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here, and we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
If it's after lunch, I probably wouldn't have fed him to the tiger. I get a little ornery when I'm hungry, and timing is everything, people. That's why my Sportsbook app has live in-game betting for football. I don't care if the game has already started. If the time to make your move is in the second half, go for it. Caesar's got you. Caesar likes to move freely. That's why I'm partial to the total.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
This winter season, don't just get ready, drive ready with a new truck or SUV from Woodhouse. Easily tackle the snow-covered streets and holiday road trips with the whole family. with our selection of the top truck and SUV brand lineups. Plus, our team is ready to get you the capability you need, the comfort you want, and the tech to keep the kids entertained. Visit one of our 17 locations and win the season with a new truck or SUV from Woodhouse.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hello, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. We are now open and ready to serve you at our second location at 202nd and Pacific. You may ask, why are we growing so fast? It's simple. With Equitable Bank, you get the best of both worlds. A great digital banking platform backed by our customer service. Once you bank with us, you'll never want to leave. When you're ready for a superior banking experience, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Just refuse to grow up, regress, turn back the clock, be 17 again. No responsibilities, bouncing checks left and right. Chuck all your worries and stay locked in 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. with the sometimes highly immature boys of 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Well, last year, in fact, I remember we were watching it here during the program, the basketball tournament. This is that $1 million to the winner.
Yeah.
It's like winner take all elimination bracket. You get a lot of former college players. Generally, it's, college alums of the same school. You occasionally get a few little mix and match here and there. And we were watching the Omaha Blue Crew made up of predominantly former Creighton Blue Jays. But Deverell Biggs, who played at Nebraska.
Yeah, or you've got like Overseas Elite has been really good. That's just a bunch of guys that are kind of overseas all-stars.
Yeah.
That come over. But a lot of them are school-oriented.
They're like school-oriented. And we were watching.
Like the Boeheim's Army, I think is one of them.
Boeheim's Army.
Didn't
they win it?
I think last year they did,
Yeah, Boeheim's Army won it. Well, we were watching Omaha Blue Crew, and they upset Kansas State. We were watching it on TV.
Yeah.
And then I remember being engaged as they were playing the Wichita team. And, I don't even want to talk about how that game was.
No, I mean, always.
I got irrationally upset watching that game.
It was Wichita. You have to.
I know. It was cool. Well, the coach and general manager of the Omaha Blue Crew, former Blue Jay himself, Josh Jones, joins us on the Lanahaw Nurseries hotline. Josh, good afternoon.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on, man.
Well, we had exciting news today. So the basketball tournament, which they have held at a variety of different locations, is going to bring one of their regionals to Omaha, and it will be hosted mid-July at DJ Sokol Arena. So you guys must have made one heck of an impression. I mean, you get to host a regional now.
Yeah, man. First of all, again, like I said, thank you guys for having me on the show. I think the greatest thing that inspired this to be a considerable thing for TBT Omaha in general. After the event, I just explained that you guys have fun in Wichita, but there's no place like Omaha, and they were hooked.
So, Josh, what does that process look like in terms of once the regional is here? How does that look like for in terms of what teams or how many teams will be here and the process of kind of securing a venue and all that? How does that all go?
Oh, okay. Well, so first of all, the process in general is anybody can put in an application from any alumni from a university or in general. But the TBT has a committee that kind of oversees the teams that would be great for the tournament brand and great for competition and things. And so they ultimately select who they want to pick and put them in an NCAA tournament-like style. As far as our region in general, there are two sides of the bracket that will be played here. we are obviously hosting the region as the Omaha Blue Crew or whatever. Well, probably our region will be made up of border state schools, such as I hope we can get a Nebraska Husker team in here. Maybe like in the past it was All Iowa United or someone from Chicago. So you'll get teams in the region that are close, close, near and dear to fans in the Omaha vicinity and people who can travel well.
We know that the McDermotts kind of helped fund things for you guys last year, gave you a little bit of that boost that you needed. I know Doug was quoted in the press release that came out today. Are things on track for you guys to have another successful organization as you work ahead towards next summer?
That's a great question. Things are actually on track for the fact that we have worked far ahead to prepare this platform. What we will need is our Omaha support. So with that being said, there will be different links and different opportunities where Omaha could actually support from a sponsorship standpoint or however they want to do it to be involved. And even a chance that if we win the whole tournament, you as a fan in general, you can win a part of the pie.
Which is $1 million. I kind of like this idea. Now, obviously, last year I know that Jahens, Austin Chapman, James Milliken, Martine Krompel all made the roster last year. Do you have commitments already for next year as far as who's going to be able to play? Because obviously a lot of it depends on some of these guys are playing overseas and they have different schedules. Do you know what kind of the roster is going to look like for next year?
Well, I have an idea just because, several guys, we're still friends. It's a brotherhood. So I talk to several guys all the time. But as you said, certain guys have families. Certain guys are still in contractual agreements. Some guys are injured. So I have kind of an idea. If you're looking for me to give you a few names, the greatest thing I can tell you right now is as a front runner, Jahens Menegas will be back. For sure, the Canadian Red Bull. Everyone else, I just want to surprise Omaha. I'll release it soon, but I'll just throw some names out of former players who potentially could play. You got Gregory Echenike, you got Marcus Foster, you got Justin Patton, you got Kyrie Thomas. There's so many guys who are eligible and interested. It's just a matter of who will be on the team.
So, Josh, if I understand correctly, anybody that is not currently under an NBA contract is eligible, correct?
Exactly. That's 100% correct.
So
you can assemble your team of anyone pretty much, but it has to be based upon your university, like the bulk of your team.
So when you're seeing, obviously I'm sure you want a lot of your guys to get those NBA deals, but when you see guys like Tyshawn and Kyrie and Justin sign overseas, you kind of like it a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, for the love of the sport, man, you definitely do. You're not rooting against them at all, man. You're just hoping things play in your favor. That's funny because that is so true for this type of deal. I think the greatest thing about the TBT that I can say I appreciate is being able to play. Not even just to say one more time, but just to assemble again with some of your past teammates and all that type of stuff. Being able to play in front of fans again and make a run at some money. I think is great. And the Elam ending is the icing on the cake.
Well, and Josh, it's kind of a good way too to connect with some guys that maybe you didn't overlap with a ton, right? In your playing days at Creighton, you connect with different generations of Jays, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I've had talks last year with so last year when I assembled our original team, I spoke to Damian Jefferson and I had some talks with like Mitch Ballock and Denzel Mahoney, and they were interested in it. They were young, fresh out of figuring out what they were going to do with their deals. But you never know. You might get some Big E's MVC. You never know.
And as you mentioned earlier, we're talking with Josh Jones, coach GM of the Omaha Blue Crew, the TBT, the basketball tournament. This is the $1 million take-all tournament that was very popular. It was on ESPN last year. is going to host a regional here in Omaha, hosted by the Omaha Blue Crew. That I know Deverell Biggs, who played for Nebraska, Omaha kid, that Nebraska does not have a team yet. Are you hoping that they can get something organized? Is there any efforts to get something organized?
You can quote me on record saying that I'm going to do everything in my power to help Nebraska get a team, for the simple fact that I think it'll be great, because at the end of the day, it's great for the city of Omaha, but also awesome for the state of Nebraska. And when it comes to that Creighton-Nebraska rivalry, why not? I mean, thinking about my personal experiences, I actually was forced to end my career at the Pinnacle Bank Arena, passing out on the floor. So I never got that final time to compete against Nebraska. So for me, it'd be awesome to have them be on the other side of the bracket and we meet in the middle.
All right, Jake Muehlheisen, if you're listening, get a team organized. Get some of your buddies. Let's get a Nebraska Red team in here for the Omaha Regional. That would be fun. That would definitely help pack the Sokol Arena if we get a Creighton Nebraska game in summer.
Well, there's no risk either, right? Because Creighton never loses to Nebraska anyway.
That's true, Josh. I mean, so basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to guarantee a win for the Blue Crew is what you're doing.
Yeah, we need to advance, man. So come on, Nebraska, help us out.
Well, this is exciting news, and hopefully, all the partners are back in, and I know you'll have some more information coming out over time as to how folks can help not only the hosting of the tournament here in Omaha, but also the Blue Crew itself. Keep their team going.
Sure. And one thing that I want Omaha to know is tickets will go on sale very soon. You won't have to wait until the summer for this. This is one of those deals where we anticipate tickets to sell out fast, a highly anticipated event. It will be exactly formatted like a Creighton home game. So you'll have starting lineups, you'll have potential halftime performances. You'll have a whole experience. It'll be awesome. You might see some star-studded players involved. You never know. Remember that. All these different schools that want to be involved. You'll see so many of your former players who used to play at these universities giving and coming back. So you don't want to miss it. We might even have Bud Crawford on the bench. You never know.
Oh,
Bud can play a little bit too.
I know.
Oh yeah, Bud can definitely play. And that's the thing with me. I'm a product of North Omaha. So is he, and I pride myself on at least having some representation always of North Omaha, and that's how Greg Smith, Deverell Biggs, and last year Akoya Gal got involved.
Amen.
And Justin Patton's available. I'm just saying, Omaha North.
Exactly, right. I mean, what would it be like to have you'll have a Deverell Biggs, Kyrie Thomas, Greg Smith, Anthony Tolliver, Gregory Echenike, with Justin Patton coming off the bench. You just never know. You just never know what may happen.
All right. Well, we're going to keep an eye on this, and it sounds like it's going to be an awful lot of fun next mid-July, next year at Sokol Arena, the TBT, the basketball tournament. For $1 million, one of the regionals will be here, hosted by the Omaha Blue Crew, Josh Jones, coach and GM. Josh, great to catch up with you. Good luck, and keep us posted on everything, and we'll make sure to get the word out.
Yes, sir. You guys are great.
Thank you. Josh Jones joining us on the Lanahaw Nurseries hotline. Might have to get Brody and Nick, and we'll just do the radio. It'll be like a full Creighton experience. Ravi can host shoot around, Blue Crew shoot around.
You have a word of the game.
A word of the game that I'll forget to get in.
And they get penalized. Have to do 2 next time.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, you'll be thinking about that for tomorrow.
I sent Nick a whole list last time.
Good. We're stocked up.
All right, we're stocked up. Good.
I've got lots of them. I'm ready to go.
Well, we're also stocked up with some great dumb debates.
Let's go.
And we're going to hit on those dumb debates coming up next. We are streaming live on Twitch, on Twitter, on YouTube. So check us out. You can watch us debate things dumbly. But before we debate, it's time for a hydration break. Social in Elkhorn, 192nd and Pacific. Drink well, stay late, be social. Dumb Debates is straight ahead right here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct in 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620, The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Looks like we have an accident at I-80 westbound by exit 450. 680 is all clear up. JFK is looking good. And Dodge Street is starting to see its usual slowdown around this time. My name is Conrad, and this has been your afternoon traffic report.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Spread some instant joy this holiday. Give Nebraska Lottery scratch and lotto tickets. They're the fast, easy, and fun way to make spirits bright. They make terrific stocking stuffers, party favors, and last-minute gifts. Top prize odds vary by game.
Hello, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. We are now open and ready to serve you at our second location at 202nd and Pacific. You may ask, why are we growing so fast? It's simple. With Equitable Bank, you get the best of both worlds. A great digital banking platform backed by our customer service. Once you bank with us, you'll never want to leave. When you're ready for a superior banking experience, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Here's this week's Maverick Minute. Number 10 Omaha Hockey's 4-game win streak came to an end Saturday when Colorado College took a 4-0 victory at Baxter Arena. Coach Gabnett said he liked his team's start and finish in its 2021 home finale, but not its effort for the time in between. Hockey hits the road this weekend, headed to Western Michigan Friday and Saturday. And that's your Maverick Minute on your home for the Mavericks. 1620 The Zone at 1180 Zone 2 The Deuce and News Talk 1290.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is for two $25 gift vouchers for the price of one from Early Bird Brunch in the Blackstone District and Shadow Lake Town Center. Early Bird's open 7 days a week, offering a variety of fun pancakes, eggs, Benedicts, scrambles, and other delicious brunch options, including mimosas and other adult beverages. That's this week's half-off deal.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Up to 5 messages a month. T&Z and privacy policy found at warbyparker.com/terms. Reapply help for help or stop to cancel.
Do you wear glasses? Is it time for a new pair? Buying new glasses can be expensive, but with Warby Parker, it doesn't have to be. Warby Parker glasses start at just $95, including the prescription lenses. And they're as durable and well-made as the frames that cost hundreds of dollars more. Warby Parker glasses are made from premium materials, the creme de la creme. From custom-designed cellulose acetate to ultra-lightweight titanium. And lenses are equipped with scratch-resistant and anti-reflective coatings at no extra cost. Every pair of Warby Parker glasses is individually inspected and packaged to make sure every customer will be delighted by their new glasses. See for yourself. Get 5 stylish Warby Parker frames to try on at home for free. Just text LOOK to 64,000 to try on 5 pairs free. Text LOOK to 64,000. That's LOOK to 64,000.
It's the sound of the season. The bells are ringing at Salvation Army's iconic red kettles. You can find them at more than 100 locations around the metro. And this year, those kettles are taking more than just dollars and cents. All kettles have Venmo and PayPal functionality on them. So if you're going cashless nowadays, no problem. Just take out your smartphone and scan the QR code or bump the kettle sign to make a fast, secure digital donation. Remember, all donations stay local and help those in need. Thank you for your support.
Start your engines.
Joe's Indoor Karting in Council Bluffs is off the charts crazy. Joe's Karting is fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing action at over 40 miles per hour. The only speed restriction on these karts is how good you are. Joe's Karting is located just a couple of blocks north of Bass Pro Shop and directly east of AMC Theater in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Go watch a movie. Come race at Joe's. Planning a bachelor party, graduation party, or just a night out with friends? Go to Joe's. Remember, Joe's Karting is your place to race.
Hi, I'm Mark Evans, owner of Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More. Join us in supporting Food Bank for the Heartland. Right now, if you donate 5 cans of food, you can get a furnace safety inspection and cleaning for only $55. Request service at justcallburton.com.
At Lanahaw Nurseries, we want to wish you and your family the happiest of holidays. Stop in and see everything this winter wonderland has to offer. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center and LanaHawNurseries.com.
Listen to Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay Overtime, the Creighton men's basketball postgame show on 1620 The Zone, and live from the downtown Addie Sports Bar and Grill on 10th Street right after every home game, exclusively on your home for Creighton Blue Jays, 1620 The Zone.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
It'd be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
From your mom.
Listeners and not to, we did anyway, dumb debating.
John's computer sucks, Macs are the only way, dumb debating.
Fullbacks are running backs, hamburger steaks.
Josh is too dumb to eat a cupcake.
Mainly to base.
Does John like Nebraska or Creighton?
Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Die for the pylon or give up on the plate, dumb debating.
Millennials are great and old should go away, dumb debating.
Rarely do we find any common ground.
Josh wants his food to be the best around.
Even if it gives him fatal flatulation.
Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. When a tree falls down and nobody's around, you can bet your ass it won't make a sound. Water ain't wet, you know nothing about hydration. Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating.
We are Dumb Debating, Dumb Debates, where you submit your questions, your debates, anytime one pops into your head. And of course, we're in the holiday season, so we're gathering at Christmas parties or holiday gatherings, and there's always dumb conversation going on there.
All sorts of dumb things.
If you find something that is particularly interesting or even not interesting,
or that you can't settle amongst yourselves and need the arbiters of the dumb.
Yep.
We are here.
We
I
are
love that
here
title for us.
Arbiters of the dumb.
We
Arbiters
are here
of the
for
dumb.
Good band
you.
name.
What was the band name we came up with yesterday?
Genocidal Oompa Loompas.
Genocidal Oompa Loompas. Fantastic band name.
No context. We're not going to give you any context to that.
Nope. You have to figure out the context for yourself. But send them to us, either the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at USC 1620, the Old Man Doug inbox, Equitable Bank. We take banking personally.
Yeah.
John at 1620thezone.com, Josh at 1620thezone.com.
Did Old Man Doug turn into a pterodactyl?
Can't do it as well as Josh.
That does sound like a pterodactyl.
Baby pterodactyl.
It does.
Like watching Land Before Time up in here.
I start with this, not because it's a dumb debate. It's just damn dumb.
Love it.
This is so there's been some hacking or some just outright computer, crashes, server crashes.
Okay.
With Amazon.
Yeah. Amazon Web Services.
Amazon Web Services. So this is from a story regarding said crash. I'm just going to read it word for word. Kyle Lerner and his girlfriend sensed something was amiss when they came home Tuesday and found their two Persian Himalayan cats meowing nonstop. Normally, an internet-connected feeding machine dispenses kibble for them at noon, but the felines' bowls were empty and clean. The gadget hadn't worked because of an outage at Amazon.com Inc.'s cloud computing unit. Quote, "We had to manually give them food like in ancient times," end quote, said Mr. Lerner, a 29-year-old small business owner who lives in Marina Del Rey, California.
Ancient times.
We had to touch the food and hand it to the
Had
cat.
to feed my cats like peasants.
He said that like ironically, right?
There's no way.
There's no way.
I don't know. He's 29 years old, so my guess is.
Also, I don't like how dependent it seems like our culture is getting on Amazon. That freaks me out.
Well, okay. First off, why do you even have such a device? You feed your cat in the morning and they eat, and they're pretty much good for the day. But then you get home after food and you feed them at night, and they're good for the day. You don't need to have an internet-based feeding device.
Maybe the cat wants a snack.
The only thing I've seen that I kind of enjoy is sometimes they have them for dogs where they can press a button and it'll feed them.
Right.
But I don't know that it's internet-based. I think it's just a button they press to get treats, which I think is cool. But it doesn't need to be connected to like the cloud.
Right. And at least, the dog has to do something for it.
Yeah, you gotta press the button. Little game like the rats in the cage, right? Yeah, I have to imagine there's some level of irony he was speaking with. I hope.
There better be.
I hope.
That was one of the dumbest things I've
ever
read.
Dumb. That is dumb.
One of the dumbest things I ever read.
The real victims of internet outages, the Persian some Himalayan cats.
Wardley one on Twitter asks, would you rather have speaking of food, would you rather have explosive diarrhea for 2 days or an excruciatingly painful sinus infection for a week?
Ooh, diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Yeah.
I don't want a sinus infection for a week.
No.
Especially because they do get really painful. And it's, to me, a really painful sinus infection is more disruptive than the explosive diarrhea for 2 days.
Right. Because
you're not constantly pooping.
No.
Like there are breaks.
Unless you're constantly eating.
Right. At some point, you're going to stop eating.
Yeah.
Or start eating only saltines or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Start drying up the system.
Yep.
And you will have breaks in between the explosive diarrhea.
Right.
No matter how sick you are, there will be breaks.
Now, there is an after effect with the chafing that goes on because...
Listen, a couple of solutions for you, all right? Get a bidet. Or... if you're a poor, hop in the shower, just rinse that thing right off. No chafing. There's a certain point where you hop in the shower and you just rinse it off.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do if you're stuck at work? There's no shower here.
Well, you could be very particular, like some people on this radio station who literally leave wherever it is they go so that they can do their business and then do the shower. I'm not going to name any names.
Does somebody here have home bathroom syndrome?
No, it's just they just really like the post poop shower.
Oh,
they're famous for it.
Okay,
yeah. But I'm not going to mention any names.
Sure, obviously, privacy is important.
Just a reminder that Severe and Benning is on from 6 to 10 every weekday on 1620.
Yeah, I think it's diarrhea, no question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is easy. I don't want painful sinus infection.
I mean, that's constant disruption for a week versus intermittent disruption for 2 days.
Yeah.
Give me the diarrhea.
I'm not touching that.
I think I have one, John. Spaghetti. You make it, right?
Yeah.
Do you combine the nudes and the sauce, or do you keep them separate?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I happened to see that on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed, and those of you watching here's the picture. So on the left you have the spaghetti and the sauce separate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And on the right you have the spaghetti and the sauce together. How do you prefer it served?
Yeah, so I actually prefer it served separate so that I can control my nudes to sauce ratio.
Mm-hmm.
The nudes to sauce ratio is important.
It's critical for the enjoyment of any pasta.
I agree.
The nudes to sauce ratio is one of the most key components of the meal.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, you keep them separate. That way I have total control over my ratio.
I vacillate back and forth. I generally agree with you, Robbie, but there are some times where I will come home and the wife will have made spaghetti and she'll just have it already pre-mixed. And I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
But what that does is that hurts your elimination. That hurts your ability if you're having garlic bread on the side for dippage.
True.
Yeah,
true.
It's true. The garlic bread dippage is a important part of the spaghetti meal. Now, I will say, I'm not like filing for divorce or anything if I come home and it's mixed already.
Right.
But my personal preference is to be able to control my own nudes to sauce ratio.
Well, the wife, as you have described, is a chef.
Yeah, so I trust her judgment there.
Does she combine?
I mean, she doesn't cook spaghetti and meatballs or spaghetti and meat sauce because, I mean, it's kind of an elementary dish.
Wow. Robbie's wife is too fancy for spaghetti.
That's true. I mean, we've got the lobster mac and cheese that Robbie just casually drops for lunch.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Must be nice.
Lobster,
Robbie.
scallops, crab.
Homeowner
good.
eating lobster.
Talking about his bidet.
Live on a lake.
Damn.
If I get in real trouble, I can just go stick my butt in the lake. Be good to go.
Ryan on the YouTube does what I do. So the day of, I'll keep them separate, right? But then if I have any leftovers, it's just all mixed together because I'm not trying to be fancy at that point. I just want spaghetti. Honestly, still might be eating it out of the pot that I mixed it all into.
Yeah, well, I understand that. Yeah.
Do you not have?
I have Tupperware. I'm just
serving
a single
dishes?
dude, so I don't. Why? If I'm the only one eating out of it,
You know, serving.
why would
dishes?
I dirty more dishes, Robbie?
I don't know. So you don't look like a peasant.
Who's gonna see me look like a peasant? I live alone. I'm a single dude who lives alone. I don't know what you want from me.
I was just kidding. When I lived alone, I didn't ever cook. I literally, I had, when I moved into my apartment, my mom put some stuff in my oven for storage.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved out, it was still there because I had never used the oven and I didn't realize she put stuff in there. Had never used the oven. So I understand.
The amount of times I eat mac and cheese out of the pot that I made it in, probably more than I should be.
I'm just impressed that you make anything at all, frankly.
I like to make food.
I'm
not your wife.
Strictly microwave if I'm in charge of cooking. If I can't microwave it, I'm ordering something.
I'll tell you what a game changer is: an air fryer.
I've heard that.
Those things are game changers.
I'm campaigning to get an air fryer.
It makes such a big difference when it comes to reheating pizza. Or
That's what I've heard.
I've heard air fried steak is good.
We've actually done that and it works. But you know how Amigos sells their crisp meat burritos. Frozen section.
Oh yeah.
Just had a couple of those for lunch
I've
today.
heard that
Perfect.
pizza rolls in the air fryer.
And pizza rolls, yes.
I bet chicken nuggies.
Yes.
The nuggies.
Oh, I bet the nuggies would be so good.
They're fantastic because
There's a tendy shortage.
I don't like the mushiness when you reheat in
the microwave.
And
right.
Yeah, you can do it in the oven, but
That's
the
the whole
air
thing.
fryer is so much quicker.
Yeah.
And you can set the exact time. And once you have it down to a science, you know, okay, I'm putting these bad boys in at 400 for 12 minutes. I've
Yeah.
already got my formulas down for everything. But reheating pizza,
game changer
because it crisps the crust back up.
And
it's not soggy and like, bleh.
I use the pizzazz.
Oh, I love my pizzazz. I use it all the time.
The what?
It's a pizza pizzazz. It's a rotary pizza.
Yeah.
It's designed for frozen pizzas. Incredible for reheating pizza.
You can make anything.
You
on
can.
That.
I've made hot dogs. I've made
Yes.
nuggies.
Yes.
I've made pizza rolls.
Uh-huh.
I've made quesadillas. So French
It's the
fries,
best thing.
Crispies the French fries back up.
A pizza roll on a pizzazz is the best thing I've had in my life. It's the perfect crisp
so good.
ratio.
I would like to test this against the air fryer to see which
we
one
should-
could do the best pizza rolls.
We should have a single guy food cooking off between an air fryer and the pizzazz.
Love the pizzazz.
I like this idea. A couple of things from earlier in the program. You guys were knocking me for my chicken a la king.
Disgusting.
John in Arizona says John is right. Chicken a la king is delicious. Think of it as chicken pot pie filling without the crust. That's a good way to describe it. Have you had chicken pot pie?
Yeah, I hate chicken pot pie.
How do you hate chicken pot pie? It's chicken, it's gravy, it's peas, it's carrots, it's delicious.
You lost me at peas and carrots. Cooked vegetables, hard pass.
Oh,
Weird take, Robbie.
Hard pass
What about
on cooked vegetables.
Not even like steamed veggies?
No, those are the worst
those are the
ones.
best. Robbie.
Oh,
Robbie.
you people are disgusting. Do you
Eat
not
some
care about
veggies.
texture? Ugh.
You not care about a food pyramid?
If you steam it, you can get a good. If you don't overcook it, you
Oh.
can still get a good texture.
It also brings out flavor if you steam
No.
it.
It does.
That's why I like steamed broccoli.
Why would I want the flavor of disgusting enhanced?
Steamed veggies are great, Robbie.
You guys are disgusting.
No, you.
Travis wants to know what was a more heated controversial topic at Nebraskans' Thanksgiving dinner tables: politics or scoffra?
Oh, I think scoffra, without a doubt. That'll tear families apart. That will end relationships.
And politics won't?
No, I think everyone is just kind of like, well, we're all doomed anyway. So
That's true. Good point.
at least if our football team's winning, we're distracted.
I wonder how many Thanksgivings got contentious because the subject turned to scoffra.
That's interesting. It would have been worse if he hadn't been given his stay of execution yet. I think. If it was still up in the air.
Oh yeah,
I think
that's true. Good point. Because now that it's not, some of the
a lot of the vitriol has kind
some
of
of the defrosters
subsided.
have gone back into hiding.
Yeah, because they're like, well, there's nothing we can do.
Right.
We have them for another year anyway.
We're
Let's
eternally screwed.
Let's see how the new assistants do and see what looks like next year. But I think the answer there is for sure Scott Frost, but it would have been way worse if his fate had not yet been decided. It would have ruined people's entire holiday season.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Simple's lost tea.
I have a follow-up
Oh,
quick
you
for
do?
Robbie.
Okay.
Got a phone call.
Yeah.
Try Brussels sprouts or broccoli in an air fryer.
No.
Apparently, it's game changer.
No, disgusting. I hate
Wow.
Brussels sprouts.
Right.
Get out of here. Disgusting.
Super Salad on Twitch says he's eating a bag of pepperoni and Pop-Tarts, and you're asking about the food pyramid.
Didn't think that one through, gonna be
Very
honest.
fair point.
I
Super
actually
Salad.
love salad, Super Salad. Love salad.
See, I'm the biggest gamer here, but you've got the gamer diet right now, Robbie.
I love salad. Terrific.
I like a good salad.
Hate cooked vegetables.
Big fan of salad.
Simple's lost tea. There was a picture that was out a couple weeks ago of Meta World Peace and Ben Wallace together 17 years after the Malice at the Palace.
Mm-hmm.
He asks, sports has natural enemies, whether it's teams or players. Who would you like to see sit down years later and watch them become best friends?
Ooh. That's a tough one. Because
one that pops into my mind right away, unfortunately, it can't happen anymore because one of them is gone, is Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
that was the first one I thought of. But see, part of what I like about sports, and that one's a little different because that one did, from what I have read, get personal.
It got very personal.
And Joe Frazier was legitimately hurt and things like that.
Yeah.
And, so that's a little different. But a lot of times I enjoy the pettiness and the kind of sports hatred because it's not real, right? Even when it spills into fights and things like that, for the most part, it's not real. And so I don't necessarily need or desire to see people make up. That one would have been good just because of how real and contentious the Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier thing did get.
Right. And how great the fights were.
Yeah, on 100%, and how iconic both of those athletes are. I don't know if this has happened. It maybe has. I would kind of enjoy staying with boxing, a Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield sit down and hash things out a little bit. That would be interesting.
And Tyson's, he's mellowed.
Yeah, he's
in
become
his older age.
I think a lot more self-aware of some of his issues he was going through when he was younger, and
got a good sense of humor about him.
Yeah, I think he's got a better perspective on his life now, so that might maybe be interesting. It'd be kind of funny is Nolan Ryan and Robin Ventura. That'd be a good one.
Which, by the way, I will contend, Nolan Ryan didn't land one single punch.
No, the problem
those were pro wrestling punches. He wasn't making any contact, and even if he did, he'd have hurt his hand more than he would have hurt Robin Ventura's head.
Yeah, no, it's just the visual of having him completely submitted in a headlock.
In the headlock.
It's the visual of it more than the actual damage.
It is, but that always used to bug me because people are like, oh, look at that old man. He didn't even punch him. He wasn't landing anything.
I mean, listen, all sports fights are essentially nonsense, especially now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you occasionally had some real ones.
Which is why the Malice in the Palace was such
right, yeah, and because it spilled into the stands.
Ooh, I've got one.
Yeah.
The two idiots who jumped out of the stands at Comiskey Park and tackled the Royals first base coach. I'd like to see them get back together. Remember this story?
Yeah, I do.
There's a couple of enemies that can get together.
One that I was gonna say you could bring up, but I don't want them to get together, is Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas. They seem to legitimately hate each other.
Oh, yeah, they do.
I'd like to see them sit down in a room together, but just to fight and yell at each other, not to reconcile. I want that pettiness to last forever. Give me 3 drink in Michael Jordan that we got on The Last Dance.
Yeah.
And then Isaiah Thomas, and let's get those two in a room together, but just to fight.
Can I throw in a moderator?
Yeah, let's do it.
Scotty.
He might fight Scotty as much as he fights Isaiah.
I know.
That's
why
point.
I'm saying we could. I mean, because eventually, Scotty and Isaiah would double team on Jordan, but then Scotty would remember how much Isaiah pissed him off too, and then he'd turn back.
Maybe
that could be your sequel to The Last Dance.
Yeah,
is getting those
just a Royal Rumble between those
three in the same room, just bitching at each other.
You could. I mean, I think unfortunately, Jerry Krause is dead now, but you could do like Jordan and Krause.
Oh yeah,
and that whole or Phil Jackson and Krause, maybe that whole crew together. That would have been good.
Let's see. Well, that one's not going to happen, Joe. So I'm going to erase that. I don't know if this one ever got done. It was a few days. It's been a few weeks, but Wisconsin Luke said peanut butter and onion sandwich or jalapeno and pickle sandwich. He says his dad eats the first. My uncle eats the second. Peanut butter and onion or jalapeno and pickle.
So first things first, none of these sound appealing to me. Like, I don't want to eat any of these, but I think I'm more likely to try peanut butter and onion just because I like peanut butter.
And I'm willing to go jalapeno and pickle because I like jalapeno. The idea of onion and peanut butter, though I have had burgers with peanut butter on them and they had onion.
They are delicious. I'm going to go with a crunchy peanut butter just to add more texture.
Yeah, I think I go peanut butter and onions because I don't like jalapenos. I don't like the flavor of jalapenos. I don't mind the heat. The heat's fine.
Right.
I just don't think they taste good.
Are you talking the pickled variety or just the raw jalapeno?
I don't know. Whatever comes on like a nacho.
Those are the pickled variety.
Yeah, those are gross. I don't like those.
Oh, really? I love those.
Disgusting.
Huge fan. I think I would go jalapeno and pickle. Oh, you could probably talk me into the other one as well.
I'm not excited about either.
Yeah.
But I think the peanut butter is strongly flavored enough to overwhelm although, it depends on how much onion's on there.
Yeah. Kevin asks, 1998 through 2003 movies aged terrible, albeit a couple of exceptions.
98 to 2003?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think now, there is one movie. I'm not sure if it fits exactly into this time frame. I think it does. But even if it doesn't, a movie that now when people say aged terribly, sometimes they think about the content being either too risque,
maybe a little problematic.
Yeah. This movie that I'm thinking of just is so dated because it only fits in a certain time period.
Mm-hmm.
And no one can relate today because of the way the internet works. But there was the romantic comedy You've Got Mail.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
With Tom Hanks
I
and
think that was
Meg Ryan.
I believe it was just before that. I want to say it was 97-ish.
But just the idea that this relationship is happening, these two people are connecting unknown to each other.
Oh, it's 98. So you're right. 98.
Via the email. I mean, just the idea of waiting for the dial-up and everything. It's just something that you watch it and you're like, doesn't make any sense anymore.
I will say, though, the concept has actually aged very well. The technology has not.
Yes.
But with dating apps and everything, the concept of meeting a stranger over the internet and then falling in love or whatever, I think has aged incredibly well. Also, Dave Chappelle has aged incredibly well.
That's what they meant about.
He's in that movie.
That's what they meant about.
Was he?
Yeah. He's like he's Tom Hanks' like assistant.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, he's a minor character, but Dave Chappelle.
So they said that movies from 98 to 03 age terribly, right? Because I can list off a bunch of bangers.
I mean,
just from 98.
Some people consider 1999 like one of the best movie years of all time. You got The Matrix in 99.
The Truman Show was in 98.
Good movie.
That's an amazing movie.
I believe Gladiators like 2000.
Armageddon. Saving Private Ryan.
Great movie.
Pokemon, the first movie.
Don't care.
Classic.
Don't care.
Prince of Egypt. Very well done.
That is a good movie.
Johnny Pig says
American History
1986 Soul Man. Yeah,
Oof.
that one probably wouldn't age too well. Though it is fun sometimes in the movie club when Nick gets uncomfortable with some of the topics talked about.
All
in
right,
movies.
Chinatown was extremely problematic, and I get it, but still,
I'm just
a little
saying.
yikes.
Okay, 99 alone. You've got Matrix, Fight Club.
By the way, did you know there's another Matrix coming?
I did know. 10 Things I Hate About You. Good movie. Let's see what else. October Sky. That was a pretty good movie.
That is a really good movie.
What else do we? Varsity Blues. That one's a little problematic.
Oh my God, I watched that one. Happened to be on one of the channels as I was flipping through, and I actually stopped for 5 minutes. How anyone thinks that's that is so dumb. Sometimes dumb can be fun to watch. This was just so over the top dumb.
You didn't enjoy it?
That it's just like, this is totally implausible.
What about
I can't even turn my brain off for it. It's so dumb.
Any Given Sunday?
That was a fever dream movie. Is what that was. That was a fever dream movie.
What about
and in typical what the hell's the director's name?
Oliver
Stone.
Yeah.
In typical Oliver Stone fashion, he did manage to work in a Vietnam reference. Can't have an Oliver Stone movie without some reference to Vietnam.
Got to.
2000, you had Almost Famous. Remember the Titans?
Great movie.
Mission to Mars was okay.
No.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Nope. Out on Mission to Mars.
Emperor's New Groove, classic. Robbie. Robbie. Robbie.
2001, you have the first Harry Potter movie.
Spider-Man came out that year.
Ocean's 11. Ali. The first Fast and the Furious.
There we go.
A Knight's Tale.
A Knight's Tale, yes.
Great movie.
By the way, you mentioned Ali. That
Training Day.
That reminds me that our movie club selection is King Richard this week.
Oh, I liked that a lot.
With Will Smith. Will Smith is all of a sudden.
Oh, I think I'm going to be here Friday.
Yes, you are. So you can join us.
I've already watched it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I enjoyed that a lot.
That'll be perfect.
I enjoyed that
Will
one
Smith
a lot.
Now, all of a sudden, all of his movies are now doing biographical characters.
Well, yeah.
Here's a dumb debate for you. What biographical character that Will Smith hasn't done yet would you like to see Will Smith do?
Ooh.
The correct answer is Richard Nixon.
What? What?
What biographical character?
No,
that Will
I heard
Smith
the question and I heard what you said.
I would like
can't
to see Will
comprehend it.
Smith do Richard Nixon. Let's really make him work for this one.
That would be a stretch in terms of his typical characters. Interesting. I would like to see Will Smith play Denzel movie in a movie.
So like the making of Malcolm X?
Something.
And he plays Denzel playing Malcolm X?
Yes.
I could see that.
Yeah. I would like to see Will Smith play Denzel in a movie.
That's not bad. I still want to see him as Richard Nixon.
I mean, sure.
And that is Dumb Debates. Good
I'm
dumb
just saying,
debates this week.
The
friends.
98 to 2003 thing doesn't make any sense. If you go back 20 years from any period, there's going to be a lot of misses.
Yeah.
Like,
There just are.
Dude, Where's My Car? That movie does not hold up.
Most movies don't hold up. Most movies are bad.
Right.
Like most movies that get made are bad.
Right.
But the ones that, persevere through the ages are the ones you remember. But if you go back, or if you're old enough to remember movies from 20 years ago, most of them are bad. That's just what movies are. Most of them don't rise past the level of mediocrity.
Well, with that said, we'll save more movie talk for Movie Club on Friday.
That's true.
Well, that's good. You'll be able to participate too. That'll be fun.
I might watch it again. I liked it.
Yeah, I've not seen it yet. That is on the docket for tonight. King Richard, which is streaming on HBO Max, by the way.
I'll do it tomorrow night.
There you go. All right, we're coming back with more of Unsportsmanlike Conduct in a moment. It's Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Join 1620 The Zone, Westwood Plaza, and the United States Marine Corps as we stop the truck. This Friday from 3 to 6 and Saturday from noon to 6 at Westwood Plaza on 123rd and Center. Help families in need this holiday season by donating a new unwrapped toy for a child to open Christmas morning. All the info at 1620thezone.com. It's Stuff the Truck to benefit Toys for Tots with Westwood Plaza, Werner Enterprises, and 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Cold start to Wednesday with temperatures in the low 20s. We'll see plenty of sunshine throughout the day. Southeast breeze around 10 to 15 miles per hour in the afternoon with highs in the mid-40s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. The right lane is blocked on I-80 westbound by exit 450 from that earlier accident. We have a disabled vehicle blocking the left lane at 168th and Q. Dodge Street between 72nd and 90th has some slowdown going on. Not much is going on JFK or L Street. My name is Conrad, and this has been your afternoon traffic report.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Methodist Health System.
At Methodist, you can count on our team
to take care of you and your loved ones.
Because having a network of experts
to keep your family healthy
is what being in our family means.
Methodist, the meaning of care.
The NFL is nearing the playoffs, and Week 14 gives you a big divisional rematch between the Browns and the Ravens. FanDuel Sportsbook is about to make it even bigger. They're giving new customers 30-1 odds on either team to win. That means you can win $150 on a $5 bet. Look at the money line in this game. The Browns are going to be out for revenge, and they've got the home field advantage. But will Lamar Jackson bounce back after throwing 4 interceptions against the Browns? FanDuel is sports betting made simple. They're always looking to hook you up with great offers. They're number one. They're easy to use. They're safe and secure. Plus, when you win, you get paid as little as 2 hours. Already a FanDuel Sportsbook user, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with $50 when you refer a friend. Plus, your friend will get $50 too. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Sign up with the promo code Gary162 before this Sunday afternoon matchup. You could win $150 on a $5 bet. Remember to use promo code Gary162 so they know I sent you exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. 21 over, present Iowa. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Maximum bonus $150. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Watching football without Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is just, well, wrong. Seriously, how could you even consider not having Oscar's Pizza and award-winning char-buffed wings, especially with their all-new Thai chili bourbon wing sauce as part of your game day? Come watch your favorite team on Oscar's 40 TVs, including NFL Sunday Ticket. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
It pays to parlay with Elite Sportsbook. Receive a 50% bet match up to $25 every Sunday in December on your first 4-leg parlay. That's an easy $100 in free bets up for grabs in December. Plus, new signups can take advantage of their first bet being risk-free up to $500. Download the app today and play your game with Elite Sportsbook. Valid only in Iowa. Must be 21. Gambling a problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Creighton women's basketball is back on Sunday in a non-conference matchup versus the Arizona State Sun Devils. Pre-game starts at 12:45. Game tips off just after 1 o'clock. Tune into all the action on News Talk 1290. Coil.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
I am very strange.
The 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back. John Bishop, Robbie Lula with you here on this Thursday afternoon. Of course, the other news of the day was that Nebraska has come to terms and have officially announced that Mark Whipple will be the new offensive coordinator and Donovan Raiola will be the offensive line coach. No details on contract yet. We've heard there were reports, not confirmed, not yet by the university, that Mickey Joseph was going to get 3 years north of 500,000, maybe was it 600,000?
I heard six was the number I heard.
Yeah, and 3 years. The question will be, will Whipple, who left a Power 5 job for this Power 5 job, will this be the highest paid assistant in Nebraska football history? Or does Mark. Wow. Eric Chenander. Does he get a raise? Does he get bumped up?
So what's Chenander at right now? Because Whipple was
I've got 7.
I've got him at 8, according to
8.
I don't know, just quick internet search.
Yeah.
So Whipple was only making just under, I think, 500,000 at Pitt last year.
Yeah, I think it was like 450,
which is pretty low for a Power 5 coordinator.
Right.
So, I mean, you could offer him whatever Chenander's making and still have it be a sizable raise, almost, 40% raise. And I don't know where I saw this or read it or wherever. For some reason, I got a number of 3 years, 900,000 per in my head for Whipple. And I don't know if I don't remember where that came from. It might have been some random Twitter account. But that is that's the only number I've seen out there at all.
Okay.
Was about 900,000 for Whipple. So that could be maybe the range you're talking about. I don't think they're going up to $1 million on their coordinators. Maybe if somebody makes a run at Chenander, he gets a bump up into that 7 figures. But I think I would imagine Chenander and Whipple will be in the same neighborhood.
Would 900,000, if that's the accurate number, is that enough to preclude a 3-year deal, or do you think it's going to have to be 3 years and 900,000? I mean, if you're doubling a guy's salary,
yeah, maybe you can get away with a 2.
Get away with a 2-year deal.
Yeah,
especially for a guy who's 64 years old.
Well, that's the other factor, right?
So he'd be guaranteed to make, really, if you think about it, well, he would have made, if he'd stayed at Pitt, let's say for Nebraska, he could make $1.8 million.
Yep.
And it would have taken him another
4-ish years.
5 years at Pitt. We'll say 4 years at Pitt.
Yeah.
To make the same amount of money. And by that point, you're towards the end. So you might be, based on his age, you could say, at 2 years, 900,000, and hey, things work out, then
yeah, you re-up him, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. The question with his age is just how long-term is this for Whipple or Nebraska, even if it does work out, right? Because if obviously if it doesn't work out, you're looking at, probably everyone getting let go anyway. But if it does work out, how long do you really expect Whipple to continue coaching? He's in his kind of mid-60s already. It's probably not a long-term thing for him. Are you looking at, you've got Mickey Joseph as your pass game coordinator. Are you looking at grooming him to be your offensive coordinator someday? Or are you going to go through a whole new search in a few years, presumably when Whipple retires? That'll be interesting to see, but it has to work out first and foremost. Otherwise, none of it matters, right? I mean, everybody's probably gone anyway at that point. So that'll be interesting to see.
Still awaiting. There's still technically one more position to hire in terms of filling out the 10-person staff, but there's really 2 questions left out there: running backs coach and special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
And if you believe what Steve Sipple in the Journal Star is saying, there will be a special teams coordinator, but will it be a solo special teams coordinator who does not have any other official title, like a position group?
Yeah.
Or if it is a solo special teams coordinator, who's going to have to go? Because
either who's going to
go, or the thing that
or
Shafe
how are
brought
they
up,
going to manage running backs?
If they
don't have a running backs coach,
that would
in a
be,
room that hasn't done terribly well.
Yeah, that would be very bizarre to me.
Yeah,
to not have a running backs coach.
Although
I've always found that having a quarterbacks coach was a little weird, because typally that should be your offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I understand that being a dual role.
I thought
offensive coordinator.
Heck, they had redundancy in triplicate. You had a head coach who played quarterback, an offensive coordinator, and a quarterbacks coach.
Well, you had a head coach who's a quarterback and plays your calls or calls your plays.
Yeah.
An offensive coordinator who's not your quarterback coach and doesn't call your plays, and then a quarterback coach who isn't your offensive coordinator, doesn't call plays. So what exactly are some of those guys doing was the big question for me. But yeah, the running backs coach seems like a place I would not want to, I don't want to say skimp out on, but I wouldn't want to not have an on-field presence there, especially considering how concerning the running back rotations have been over the last couple of years.
Yes.
That's something I want a very active hand on.
Yeah, you want someone who can manage that position because usually you're managing some pretty big egos and you're trying to balance carries.
Not just that, but you're also managing skill sets and situation. You're
Yes.
managing fatigue.
Yes.
You're managing a lot of things in game
That's
that you
important.
want an on-field coach for.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same reason that like offensive line coaches are obviously really important. And although you tend to see less substitutions along the line, depending on your scheme and depending where you're at, but running back rotations are very common and wide receiver rotations are very common in terms of shuffling guys in and out based on play call and skill sets and fatigue and all these other things. Right. So I that's not a place I would want to have an analyst in that role. I wouldn't want that at all. I do think you need an on-field running backs coach. Again, to me, the thing that makes the most sense is to move Barrett Root, whether it's into an analyst role and Chins can handle the inside linebackers on an on-field role, or whether you just give Chinander inside linebackers completely and Rude moves on totally. That's the one that makes the most sense to me. And I don't.
Now, Rude has been kind of one of your lead dogs in in-state recruiting. But
and how has that gone?
Outside of Omaha, good.
Okay, yeah, sure. But most of the highly touted talent is in Omaha. The guys that they're missing that people are upset on are in Omaha. You know, it's the thing that we were talking about with Gary in the crossover. It's the big misses that cost you, right?
Yep.
The big misses are in Omaha for the most part. That's where you kind of have to worry about, okay, yes, he's been – I don't understand why that can't be Scott Frost's role. If he's not doing offensive play calling and he's not doing offensive game planning and all that kind of thing to the extent he was before, shouldn't that be his role? Shouldn't he be the one locking down? He's the in-state kid. I mean, I know Barrett Root is too, but he's the in-state kid. He's the one that won the national title here. He's the face of the program. He's the one that needs to be making the connections with these high schools. He's the one that his face in the hallway matters.
I would agree because it would also show how important Omaha is.
That's what I mean, right?
I mean, it's
not one thing when Barrett Root shows up.
Yeah.
It's another thing when Scott Frost shows up.
Exactly, because he's the lead dog.
When my sister was in high school, she was in the same class as Eric Crouch. Tom Osborne showed his face in those hallways multiple times to bring Eric Crouch to Lincoln. That's a big deal. It's not the same thing as, I don't even know who the quarterback's coach was, but if they had a quarterback's coach back then.
Well, that was Turner.
Oh, yeah, Turner. It's not the same thing if Turner shows up to Millard North, right? It's a big deal. Sure, it's a big deal still, right? Big deal if Turner Gill shows up. When Tom Osborne marches through that door, everybody takes notice. Same thing with Scott Frost versus Barrett Root. Scott Frost is the one who makes the needle move when he walks into your high school. He's the one that builds the connections with the high school programs and the high school coaches that matter, right? Barrett Root can be doing the Lord's work out here and pounding the pavement, doing everything he can. But those high school coaches don't feel the love until Scott Frost starts making that effort.
I agree.
And to me, that's why Omaha's been bleeding talent to other parts of the country, because that hasn't been cleared up between the head coach and the high school programs around the city.
It would show Omaha is a priority and should have been a priority all along.
100%.
And it needs to be. It needs to be treated special.
It does. And you have to.
Because it's the one big market you have in this state.
Yes, 100%. And listen,
and look at the legacy of some of the greatest Huskers of all time have come from the Omaha metro area.
Well, and now their kids are coming out of the Omaha metro area.
Yes.
And they're going other places.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem, right? It's not just that they're Omaha kids. They're Omaha kids that are Nebraska legacy kids, and they're leaving.
And they're leaving too. Holiday spending spree is here. Win $15,000 to supersize your holiday. Enter to win now. 1620thezone.com. We have what you say in Bet of the Day straight ahead on Unsportsmanlike Conduct and 1620 The Zone.
NFL Thursday Night Football plays here on 1620 The Zone.
And that's when I realized it's called a hamburger, not a handburger, because you carry it with your hand. I was wrong, people. It's like that time I thought I couldn't make the perfect app for football. I was wrong again, people. All I had to do was make a sportsbook app where you can earn season rewards all Sunday long. Nobody's better at bettering things than Caesars.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Hey, everybody, it's Michael Severe for Ted and Wally's 2 locations in Benson and, of course, in the Old Market. This is the time to give a great gift. And what is it? Ted and Wally's gift cards. 35 years in business. You can get great ice cream. You can get 35th anniversary merchandise. We got sweatshirts, T-shirts, hats, stocking caps, all of those in stock. And who wouldn't want some great ice cream for a year? The best holiday flavors in town, plus over 3,000 flavors to choose from your go-to. Order ahead, pints, quarts, and half gallons.
Message and data rates may apply up to 5 messages a month. T&Z and privacy policy found at warbyparker.com/terms. Reapply help for help or stop to cancel.
Do you wear glasses? Is it time for a new pair? Buying new glasses can be expensive, but with Warby Parker, it doesn't have to be. Warby Parker glasses start at just $95, including the prescription lenses. And they're as durable and well-made as the frames that cost hundreds of dollars more. Warby Parker glasses are made from premium materials, the creme de la creme. From custom-designed cellulose acetate to ultra-lightweight titanium. And lenses are equipped with scratch-resistant and anti-reflective coatings at no extra cost. Every pair of Warby Parker glasses is individually inspected and packaged to make sure every customer will be delighted by their new glasses. See for yourself. Get 5 stylish Warby Parker frames to try on at home for free. Just text LOOK to 64,000 to try on 5 pairs free. Text LOOK to 64,000. That's LOOK to 64,000.
We invite you to find your mechanic at Dingman's Mechanical. Mike did.
I had vibration in the wheel. I called Todd on a Friday afternoon. I was leaving town the next day. He fit me in at 4 o'clock. By the time I got there, he had the parts sitting there, ready to go.
Why do you trust Dingman's Mechanical?
Dingman's, I feel, really goes the extra mile. Super knowledgeable, super trustworthy. Experiences I had with them. They took care of the cars. They took care of the problems. They took care of me, the customer.
Thanks, Mike. The next time you need mechanical service, visit us at Dingman's Mechanical Repair, dingmansmechanical.com.
Here's this week's Maverick Minute. Number 10 Omaha Hockey's 4-game win streak came to an end Saturday when Colorado College took a 4-0 victory at Baxter Arena. Coach Gabnett said he liked his team's start and finish in its 2021 home finale, but not its effort for the time in between. Hockey hits the road this weekend, headed to Western Michigan Friday and Saturday. And that's your Maverick Minute on your home for the Mavericks. 1620 The Zone and 1180 Zone 2 The Deuce and News Talk 1290.
At Lanahaw Nurseries, we want to wish you and your family the happiest of holidays. Stop in and see everything this winter wonderland has to offer. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center and LanahawnNurseries.com.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
What you say? Oh, that you only meant well, because you did. What you say? What you say?
It is time to head around the world of sports and see what else is going on. It's time for What You Say.
What's up? It's Nick, your local sports expert on the program.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon defensive lineman Kayvon Thibodeau and Pitt quarterback and Heisman finalist Kenny Pickett are likely not going to play in their team's respective bowl games. Excited for bowl skipping season?
Of course. Because I like it more for the hand-wringing from people saying,
oh, I can't believe you're quitting on your team like this.
It's almost like bowl games don't matter at all.
It's almost like they're exhibition games where, you know, a whole bunch of people make money, but the people actually performing it don't make anything.
Oh, that's an interesting point. What if, say, for instance, we expanded the playoffs so more of these postseason games meant something? That might be an interesting idea. Huh.
Or what if they just paid the players to play in the game?
Oh, I bet they'd play then.
Well, if you want them to play,
give them little bonuses. Why not?
Crazy concepts. Dabo Swinney has already lost his longtime defensive coordinator. Now it appears Clemson offensive coordinator Tony Elliott could be headed to Virginia as head coach. After this news and the season the Tigers have we seen the end of the Clemson Tiger dynasty?
Maybe.
I think it's a problem for sure. I don't want to say it's the end of the dynasty because, listen, he's replaced coordinators on the offensive side before.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chad Morris was the big name that left, and then he replaced him. But Dabo Swinney is the kind of epitome of a CEO coach. All of the schematic is done by the coordinators.
Yes.
He is not really involved in the game planning portion for Clemson at all. So his hiring of coordinators is more important than most.
Yeah.
He was a wide receivers coach when he got promoted to head coach. He has never been a coordinator, to my knowledge, at any level. And so his ability to find new coordinators will determine whether or not the dynasty's over.
I don't know how much the Elliott loss is going to affect Clemson, but the Venables loss, I mean, the turnaround of that program and turning it into what they became happened after Brent Venables came along. Now, you can also argue that this thing has been trending in this direction with the way Clemson is recruited on the offensive line, and their performance on the offensive line has been going steadily down the last few years. So this is a big moment here for Dabo, who was a guy who was on the brink of not making it at Clemson and then becoming this, second best next to Saban type head coach. This is a big moment for him to make two more really important hires to
nail these,
to keep the Clemson train rolling. Otherwise, who the heck's going to take over in the ACC?
Florida State ? No, it'll probably be Miami and Cristobal, if we're being honest, but maybe.
Speaking of Tigers, Tiger Woods, nice, is playing golf again. He announced today he will join his son Charlie in the PNC Championship, a two-man event where golfers play with their children. Folks will be excited to see and overanalyze this, right?
Of course, because the first time we see Tiger take his first swing and, oh my God, the ball is only going 275 yards, not 375 yards. But that said, I'm glad he's doing it. It'll be good to see him back out there again, even though it's not a hotly competitive environment. It'll just be nice to see him back out there. A good comeback story. America loves a good comeback story, and this one would be one heck of a comeback because Tiger was pretty messed up.
Yeah, I mean, there were some serious concerns about his long-term ability to walk correctly and things like that after the accident. I do think I heard that you're allowed to use carts in this, so that's probably a big factor in him playing. Take some of the stress off of those previously injured legs. I mean, sure, it's exciting, but yeah, people are going to read way too much into it. He's already said as much that he's going to be in semi-retirement, where he only plays a handful of events a year. So I don't know that there's too much to overanalyze, but I'm sure people will.
Iowa backup quarterback Deuce Hogan is transferring.
Great name.
It's such a good name. His mother suggests that it was a bad joke from Kirk Ferentz the week of the Nebraska game that sealed his decision. When asked about the QB situation with both Spencer Petras and Alex Padilla, having the flu. Oh, I'm sorry. Ferentz quipped, "If it was Deuce, with all due respect to Deuce, I might have stayed in Iowa City." Valid reason to be upset, or just another case of softness?
I mean, it was a dumb joke, throwing your third-team quarterback under the bus, saying, well, if we have to go down that far in the depth chart, we might as well just stay home. But was it that bad to want to transfer? Something tells me he's probably transferring for other reasons beyond just a bad joke.
I mean, that could very well be the straw that broke the camel's back. But, I mean, especially if you believe some of the reports out of Iowa City previously, I would imagine this probably isn't the first comment that was made that Deuce Hogan didn't love, or that a lot of the players, receive comments all the time that are not super, let's say, empowering. It's probably a pattern of things that, he feels like he's not treated right, and this was just the last straw.
PointsBet has signed a sponsorship partnership deal with Maryland. It's the first Big Ten school to have such an agreement. No doubt other Big Ten schools will follow. Out of 14 Big Ten schools, where will Nebraska place in order of signing an agreement with a betting company?
15th. 15th out of 14, I think.
Oh, so they're going to add a new team before Nebraska?
Probably. Before Nebraska signs a deal with a betting company. Because, first you have to have full-fledged legal sports betting.
Right.
it's going to be a pretty small market when it happens. It'll just be at the horse tracks. Though it is funny to see how many towns are now starting to make plans to
build horse tracks.
Horse track,
100%.
so that they can have a casino.
This is going to sound terrible, but whenever Tom Osborne is no longer around, that'll be when they sign it.
Money does talk.
A Republican senator from Oklahoma has proposed renaming 3 inches of a westbound lane of the state highway after Lincoln Riley. I found the tiniest section of our most desolate of highways to pay tribute to Coach Riley's exit from Oklahoma football and the state. This is only fitting, as this is the last 3 inches one sees before leaving our great state headed west, the senator said. Is he a little butthurt?
Oh, he's very butthurt.
Yeah, the entire state of Oklahoma's butthurt, and
which is actually funny when you consider they literally left an entire conference in the lurch.
Yeah, it's hilarious and also kind of embarrassing for them. Listen, college football coaches leave, all right? It's what they do.
But they don't leave Oklahoma.
Well, apparently they do, because crazy idea, some people might prefer to live in Los Angeles than Norman.
And coach in the Pac-12 than in the SEC.
Where there's just a yellow brick road to a national playoff, especially once it's expanded to 12 teams. Listen, you could be a middle of the pack SEC team and finish high enough in the Pac-12 to get into the college football playoff. It's a no-brainer. The amount of butthurtness from Oklahoma fans over Lincoln Riley drives me nuts. And the fact that they're out there saying things, I saw people out there talking about, well, Matt Rule's not good enough, and I don't know if we want Cliff Kingsbury. It's like, yes, the coach with the best record in the NFL is not only going to leave to go to Oklahoma, but you're going to greet him with, I don't know if he's good enough to be at Oklahoma. Get out of here.
Well, he's not. I mean,
clowns.
He's not that
clowns.
Anyway, Arizona's a fluke. It's going to be proven. But
they won like 4 of those games with Colt McCoy. I don't think it's a fluke, man.
They should have lost to the Vikings. He had a damn kicker. No business beating the Rams.
You sound like a Husker fan right now. It's like, well, we should have won this one and should have won that one. And
should have.
If it weren't for all the special teams and the kickers and the defense and the offense and the play calling and the players and the coach, if it weren't for those little things, we would have won more games.
That's what you say. Coming up, we got the bet of the day. Brought to you by Elite Sportsbook. Next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the host